All right, guys, welcome to Static Interference. My name is Don.
And I'm Ravi. Oh my God, I'm still not yet organized. God, I really have to start making a list of all the things that I don't have time to do. Um,
Like what? Like not get ready for our
I
second
get around.
our second stream, our second podcast ever.
It, is it already our second? It feels like our second actually. So yeah.
It yeah, it certainly does. It just feels like just the second. But glad to have you guys back. I'm glad. Well, let's see. I don't know how many people are listening right now. We've got a few people on Kumu. We have a few
Wow.
people on. Hey, Justin Carino, thank you for saying what up. Glad you could join us. Also, Tito Frank from Vocal Alliance, one of the great voices of Vocal Alliance.
Awesome.
Yeah, so glad to have you guys on. Hey, how's your weekend, Rob?
Great. I mean, it was pretty jam packed. It just went by so quickly. I don't even remember what. Oh wait, hold on. I do remember what happened.
Yeah, I
I
do.
I helped
Wasn't
somebody
there
celebrate his
something?
birthday.
Something happened, I think. Just something memorable from your possible bestest friend in the
Oh,
whole entire
sure.
universe.
Okay. Since it was your birthday, I'm gonna let me help you wax your ego for you.
Yes,
Um,
please, because
no, it was
it's quite hairy. I need a buff. So yeah.
it was great, man. I mean, we did something that I'd never done before, and we played Jackbox games on Zoom, which was incredible. I that was quite novel. I thought it was really fun. We played like a bunch of games, like what was that? Fibbage, right? If I'm not
Fibbage,
mistaken,
where you
Fibbage.
yeah, and how do you? Well, I'll explain to people how you play Fibbage. You basically have to lie, and your lie has to be so believable that everybody votes for it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so it was great. We just spent it all by ourselves, just the two of us. I'm kidding. There was a whole
Because I have no
smorgasbord of people.
friends. Is
'Cause,
that
yeah,
the idea?
this is why we're doing this show, because this is the only time we ever get to talk. No, we had like a whole
Oh,
bunch of friends come join us, and it was so much fun. We had some drinks, some some eats,
yeah.
all
You know,
all all of the accoutrements that you would have in a party, barring the fact that we were all socially distancing.
that's right. And you sent me over a couple bottles of wine
That's
actually
right.
post
Yeah.
birthday, which I thank you for, buddy. And then yeah, Justin was one of the guys who popped in. Too bad he couldn't stay though. We were playing those Jackbox games. I think he would have really liked that because he likes playing games on his show as well. But
And
speaking of
apparently,
friends,
yeah,
Rob,
a lot of people are playing Jackbox, particularly
yeah,
Jackbox.
it's a
It's
really
wonderful. Yeah.
fun party game, actually, and
Yeah.
they say the best games in the party pack are, I think, in edition 2 and 5 because that's pretty. If you had to pick two, those are the ones that have all the good games in it, apparently.
Is that
Uh,
is that something you can download? Or
well, you can,
behind a
yeah,
paywall or something? What? Oh,
well, yeah, you have to buy the game. You can
mm,
download the game on Steam.
yeah.
It's on the Steam store, or you can buy it for the Switch, and
Nice.
that's it's really nice on the Switch too. And if you want to play online, it's one of those games you can play in a Zoom party, so you
Right.
can just share the screen and everyone around the world can play. So if you've got family and friends you want to invite to it, they can totally just hop in and play. So it's really cool that way.
Although, word of warning for people who are just getting into it. I mean, if if you're playing for the first time and you don't know your way around, you know, tech and
Yeah, there's a
apps and stuff
little
like that,
bit
there's
of
a learning curve.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a learning curve, sure. Yeah.
But once you
All
get
right, want to
past that,
say
it's really easy.
let's
Hey,
say hello to
Merlin.
some people watching right
Yeah.
now.
We got the Clingy crew. They're tuned in right now. I love the name. They even have a whole logo. They
Do
designed
they
the
really?
logo. Yes, they have. Okay, for everybody's for the sake of everybody else. The Clingy crew is a group of voice actors that they formed. um I don't know how do I make this sound really cool. Okay, so
Because you're not,
they
so it's hard.
they're no, they're a rogue. It's sort of like a rogue group of voice actors who started out doing voiceover workouts with me, and then they just went rogue and started doing voiceover workouts on their own together as a group, and it just blows my mind because they're doing such great stuff right now, and I hope more people get to join them or create their own cells or cliques. How do
You're
say
making it
cliques?
sound like terrorist cells of like rogue voice actors
Sorry,
who are going to
my
terrorize
choice
the
of
voice
words.
industry.
I know. I'm sorry. That's not that's what I was trying to
Weird.
drive at.
Weird.
So anyway, no, and it's the cool thing about it is they've gotten so attached to each other because they spend hours and hours and hours. Well, I'm part of the crew as well, so I'm very attached to them. But they spend hours and hours practicing and learning from each other, and it's really a remarkable process. And I hope more voice actors out there do the same thing. It's hashtag clingy crew. The reason why they're called clingy crew is because they never want to say goodbye to each other. And so they're tuned in right now, and we're super happy. We're stoked that you. It's a trap, Nathania says.
Yeah, I totally love the VO workouts and hanging out whenever I get the chance to join. And yes, it is very hard to hang up or to leave the room afterwards.
Things get pretty intense,
I bet. I'm sure it's evolved into something really incredible and extreme. Probably
Absolutely.
doing some really crazy script reads already in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
And they've really progressed in such a short amount of time. I've seen so many breakthroughs happen in this group, and it just boggles the mind. They're doing so well, and one of them, Claire, for instance, I mean, she's bagging like audition after audition now, and
and I also produce like my fair share of projects as well, and I've casted from the Clingy crew myself. Isn't Joy Rabo part of the Clingy crew as well?
Yeah, Joy is there.
Yeah,
Luis is there. He's doing really well.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
And so many others. Vince is tuned in as well. Thank you so much, Alan, Alan DS here on Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and thank you for the support. We got lots of stuff that we want to cover today. We've got a really amazing lineup for everybody.
Yeah, amazing show that we did completely last minute, like we always do.
Right. I mean, buzzer beater. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't know how much cramming we do. It's like it's like homework for us. It's like the last hour is the most productive. But we're gonna cover a lot, and like I mentioned earlier, I had a birthday. It was a big one for me. It was a big milestone
big
birthday.
4-0.
It's the big 4-0 for me. 40. Do I look 40? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. But I know Robbie he's older than me, so I'm only now entering. We were a decade apart prior to a couple of days ago, and it showed. But now not so much.
They say life begins at 40, right?
Yeah, I guess that's what they do say. Is that true?
Yeah.
I guess. Well, now I can ask myself: is that true, Dom?
Yeah.
Does life start?
Well, everything else, just either spreads out, wears out, or falls out. So, let's see how things turn out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good. I don't know what was it, second half of my life, or well, I think I will stay. I'll be older than 80 when I go, I hope. But anyway, today we actually have some really cool stuff lined up, like Robbie said, and we're going to have a really awesome guest for tonight. And
amazing.
He's going to join us. He's going to join us a little bit later in the show. Marvel Studios Senior Visual Development Artist Anthony Francisco will join the show probably around 9:30, but we hope you can join us till then. His credits include Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and actually a lot of stuff from prior to the Marvel Universe. He actually worked on some movies like G.I. Joe, and a couple of movies from his IMDb. We'll get into that stuff in just a little bit.
That's right.
But yeah, but first we want to go ahead and let's try to do our weekly rundown, because we scour the internet for news and interesting topics, interesting tidbits of information that we can share with you guys. And what were you saying, Robbie, is our tagline for our intro, like you said? Why are we called Static Interference?
So we're trying to come up with a slogan, right? I nominate this one in particular. I think it's quite ingenious. Okay, allow me to share it with you. It's Static Interference. I wish I had like a drum roll or something. Static Interference, where we help you sift through the noise. Think it works? Or
sure, that works.
How does? Well, it's all we got so far. If anybody else wants to help us with creating a slogan, please do so. Put it in the comments, and we'll see if it works. We'll use our VO voices to bring life to those words. Anyway, so yeah, weekly rundown. This is the portion where we, consolidate, collate, and condense all the juicy bits of news out there, toss them into a bag, and tie them up and beat them down with clubs until they stop moving. And then we empty the contents onto a table and play with the remains with our little itty bitty hands.
Okay, Robbie, you've got issues. You've got issues, man. I think you got some issues. Sorry. But it's okay. We'll work through those issues. So let's start. Let's start working through those issues. So first on the docket, we've got Fall Guys on PS4. This was a free download for the PlayStation 4 if you had PlayStation Plus. And everyone's been playing this game as of late. It seems to be like the co-op game to go-to co-op game the past few weeks.
Is it like a battle royale or anything like the sort?
Yeah, it's a battle.
Actually played it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a battle royale where you can get up to 60 people in a room, but instead of it being like your typical, shoot everybody dead until there's one person left standing, it's almost like a Japanese game show type race type of situation where you're trying to basically just finish in the top, and everyone's just racing each other, and they're trying there's certain there's certain strategies on how to kick other players off the map so that they lose, or they have to start over, or they get pushed back and whatever else. And I thought it was really fun. It's a really fun game, but the loading times and the lobby takes a long time. And if you suck at the game, you're probably going to spend most of your time in the lobby more than you're going to be playing the game. But here, let's take a quick look at it right now. Here is Fall Guys on PS4.
Is this only available on PS4?
Fortnite and PUBG may have popularized the last player standing format, but Fall Guys Ultimate has truly unlocked its potential by painting it in hot pink.
God, that's a review.
That's fine. We can still see it. We'll review it.
Okay.
Never mind that, reviewer. So these are the clips of it right now. And so as you can see, you have platforms that disappear. You're trying to get from point A to point B. There's all these obstacles, and there's all these different avatars you can use. You can get your different outfits, which is pretty fun, and it looks really cutesy. That's why I was kind of like, this looks more like a Switch
Nintendo game,
a Nintendo title rather than a title that would normally be on PS4. But I still really quite like it.
It's got like a really sweet saccharine candy color palette that
right.
I don't know. I never.
It's
really
very akin.
Games.
Yeah, it's very akin to Split. Well, a little bit different, but Splatoon has the same color palette, probably different art style. But I mean, very colorful, very in your face, but very fun. And I think if you're in a chat party, like a PS4 party or something, and you're listening to it, I think it would come across as a lot of fun, like a party game.
Is it the next Fortnite?
No, I wouldn't go that far. But it's a Fortnite Junior, but. I always go off of my son. My son, is a big avid multiplayer co-op kind of guy. He loves playing games like Overwatch, Fortnite, and those types of things. And apparently this is what all his friends are playing right now, is when they want to get a break from the ultra competitiveness of those types of games. So
So it's like a breath of fresh air for a lot of gamers nowadays.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you find it kind of funny though, like for a game like that, you know, people are in like chat parties and they're like, you know, they're dropping F-bombs at each other, or they're trying to be like all tough and be like, "Oh, you suck, dude," or whatever, and they start trolling one another. I'm like, it's kind of saccharine-y, pretty saccharine type of game to be like having that kind of attitude with, right?
I would love to see that in action. You know, like
I know, right?
really hardcore players just cussing at each other, hurling expletives, and you know, threatening each other to, you know, with death and murder.
Like the best Fall Guys trash talk, basically. I want to see like a clip of all that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right. Well, I haven't gotten to play it yet. I would like to try it, but it's not really my cup of tea. I'm not won over by the art style, but yeah.
Frank says, "Fall Guys simulates a commute to work in Manila." Yeah, I'd say that's about accurate. Why play a game when you can just do the real thing, right? Pug Daddy said, "This is actually quite fun. I'm just stuck on finishing The Last of Us 2 before committing to this." Yeah, well, yeah, Last of Us 2 is probably a very different experience from this, so it'll probably be a nice breath of fresh air after all of the zombies and murder, I'm assuming.
Pug Daddy, by the way, is Jared Carino. You might want to check out his YouTube channel. He streams a lot of video games, and he's got a incredible golden voice. So he's also a voice talent, and he's definitely got more subscribers than we do. Do we have any yet?
That's not saying much, Robbie. It really isn't.
Okay.
Our second show, and we don't know how to market to save our lives. So, yeah. Hence the 1 hour before, and hence the
we'll get around to it. It'll all come together.
It
always does. All right. What else do we have?
Okay, so what else we have? We've got.
Claire, thank you for tuning in.
Pokemon Go.
You're 40 years old, right? We did establish that you just turned 40 a few days ago.
I did.
What are we doing here?
No, well, my back when my son was not quite a teenager yet, we would do this together. We would go out and we would play Pokemon Go and stuff. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And then he moved on, and then I was like, but I still like it. So I played it a little bit. And you know what? There's someone out there who's got my back on this as well. Gino Asensio Lopez is a really big Pokemon Go guy. In fact, when he greeted me happy birthday, he was like, "Yo, man, Pokemon Go Mega Evolution's coming up." And I was like, "That's right, bro."
How do you even play this game now? I mean, you can't go about frolicking outside and gallivanting like you used to because of, you know.
Yeah, good question. I mean, is Pokemon Go even still relevant right now, especially with the pandemic? Truthfully, probably not. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but they did make a lot of adjustments to the game when it was put on. When the pandemic happened, they allowed people to like teleport to certain places, and it's been a long-standing tradition in Pokemon Go that there are like a certain amount of cheaters that kind of like teleport anywhere in the world anyway. So, you know, it was kind of like more of those guys started doing it more. So it was fun. It's good.
Why not just, you know, like play Pokemon Go at home and go to different rooms and then find new Pokemon in like the bathroom or behind maybe the cupboard or something? Or can't they adjust the game to make that possible?
Yeah, they could. They could totally do that. Hey, saying hi to Russell. Hi, Tita Dawn.
Oh,
hi, Russell.
Yeah. And my girlfriend's tuned in. Hi. Thanks for watching.
and speaking of children, I think I have an intruder alert on a live stream.
That's what happens.
Honey, do you think you could come back in a little while? Daddy's kind of
No,
working.
stay.
You're-
Hang
we're
out with us.
kind of doing a show here.
Show here.
Yeah, we're doing a show. See, that's you're on TV. You see that?
TV.
Yeah, you're on TV. Okay, yeah. So
Pajamas.
why don't you say goodnight to everybody?
Good night.
Okay, see you later.
But I have to go. My mom said we have to be quiet.
Yes, yes, you're right. You have to be quiet. So bye, be quiet, goodbye.
Bye. Be quiet. Bye.
You know what? That was absolutely bound to happen anyway. Sure.
And the quickest way to get a child's attention is to just sit down and look comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Man.
Yeah, Russell says hi to Ellie too. So yeah, I'm sure
All right.
Russell's a big fan of my daughter Ellie. So yeah.
My 8-year-old talks about her incessantly. I think Russell's got a crush on your baby girl.
No, we're not ending the live stream already. We're just getting started. But yeah. All right, but yeah. So am I even going to bother showing a clip of Pokemon Go, or you don't?
Okay, go ahead. I'm wake me up when it's over.
Okay, you know what? I'll just explain that there's a whole Mega Evolution thing that came out with it, and it didn't do so well. So it's very anticlimactic. So that was really all the news there is. But if you're not really interested, we can move on. We have lots to talk about today.
All right, yeah.
So,
what else is on the list?
well, we've got we have this is pretty interesting. We got the Ghost of Tsushima DLC that was announced a couple weeks ago, but I'm sure a lot of people are already finishing their playthroughs of Ghost of Tsushima. And
One of the best games of the year.
Absolutely one of the best games of the year. And one of the few games I've finished this year, to be honest. I think there's only a handful that I was able to finish, even despite the lockdown. But I had a really good time with Ghost of Tsushima. You really do feel like a samurai in ancient Japan.
Right.
And it's really awesome. And you actually were kind of like, after the game is done, you kind of wish there was more to go back to. There wasn't really any publicized multiplayer for the game.
But it's a very linear game. So thankfully, with this new DLC, it opens the floodgates to more competitive play and more possibilities. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Has it already released, or are we just talking about the announcement?
The DLC is supposed to come out in a few months. I think it's before the end of the year, so most likely October. But here's a little sneak peek of it, and it's just really awesome because it's totally free. It's 100% free if you already own the game, so you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So here's a clip of it. Check it out.
I like that it has partial nudity.
Of course you do. And the art style, just amazing. You know, love the wind and the
unrivaled. It's amazing. And to think that this came out on a PS4. I mean, this console is like, what, 7 years old by now? Jeez.
Yeah, it's that old, and it's still looking mighty fine.
Who needs a new console generation?
I know, right? I'm not really sure what leaps and bounds to expect from the next generation of consoles, really. But we can talk about that in a little bit.
Sure will. So this trailer doesn't really show any gameplay. It's just really more of a teaser.
Yeah, but I mean, what I like about it is just the overall aesthetic that you can kind of gather from it, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about the game was
it does have gameplay. Yeah, sort of.
Well, sort of. Just a little buffering there.
Well, so much for that.
Yeah, well,
people get the idea. It's fine. You can watch it on your own. We'll leave the link in the description, or whatever those YouTubers say. Yes, great cinematics. Yep, absolutely. And Sucker Punch, the developer, you know, they really upped the ante here. They what other games are they known for this
Uh,
generation?
they
Uh,
did the Infamous series
Infamous
actually,
series, right?
and I really love that. I actually, it's one of the few games that I've played that I actually got a platinum trophy on,
Wow,
which means I
wow,
got everything on it. So there's only
right.
like maybe 6 games ever or 7 games ever for me that I've bothered to do that with, and that's one of them. Ghost of Tsushima, though, I'm not quite there yet. There's a lot of like little, fetch quests, get this collectible, that collectible, and it might not necessarily mean anything anymore. Like, it
But
doesn't
the
give
way
you
they
any
weave
benefit.
all of, yeah, the way they weave all of the game mechanics, it's just so refined, right? Even if you're doing things that you've done in other games, there's just something different about this particular expression. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So yes, it's just so masterfully done, and I did get to play a few hours of it, and I'm still plowing through, but I'm so impressed. Really, it's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's got the, apparently for this game, very much like Destiny, when you and I, we used to play a lot of Destiny back in the day, right? They're raids, so apparently there will be like ghosts or like mythical creatures or
Right.
mythical swordsmen that you'll have to fight, and then you're gonna have to, you know, meet up with get a fire team together and take them down, and that's gonna be awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
love that kind of gameplay, like coordinated gameplay like that.
And it's still
So
going to be open world, sort of open ended kind of that kind of gameplay, right? I mean, you're going to get to traverse uh, fields and
yeah, I would
villages and
I would assume there's some levels and some story involved. I mean, I can't wait to see how they do it, because I have a lot of faith in the developer on this one, so I
yeah,
feel like they're going to deliver. I really
yeah,
feel like they're going to deliver on
yeah,
it.
right. I mean, absolutely. Sucker Punch can just like take all my money, just whatever they pump out. I'm there. I agree. Yeah, they're one of the few like first party developers that I really respect. That
Yeah,
and well, of course there's Naughty Dog, although lately
absolutely.
they've
Yeah.
it's been a little controversial. I still haven't played Last of Us Part Two,
Yeah, I
but
haven't played it either, and then the reviews were kind of like mixed, and so I decided that out of all of the games that I haven't finished that I own, I'll put that as the priority,
right.
and I'll wait for a Sony sale, because they've been having some really good ones lately, and when I see it at like half off, I'll probably get it then.
The only
Seems like a
problem that
prudent move.
yeah, the only problem I really have right now is playing through these long 20-30 hour games. I just don't have the same amount of free time anymore, leisure time. Now that I'm now that I'm 40, there's just so much work to be done. Um,
But
but
do you think that when we're since that's the case, when we're retired and we're old and like we're empty nesters, is it going to be different? Because like the previous generation, they would retire, they would do play golf, go sailing, or whatever. What is our generation just going to be like, going back to gaming? I have a feeling we are.
maybe I mean there's still virtual reality, there's still augmented reality that is bound to become a thing somewhere down the line, and I wouldn't mind you know taking a trip down that lane. But as for hobbies, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of going back to art.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of drawing again. And I really want to pick the brain of Anthony Francisco later, because he is exceptional as an artist. And wait, we have a message from Jarek right now. Pug Daddy, dude, I'm going through The Last of Us right now, but I understand why people hate it. See, okay.
Oh, so you do
But
understand why people hate it?
he understands, but I'd like to find out if he's still enjoying it.
Yeah, because I
I
mean,
without like ruining the game for us because we haven't played it yet. Is it
no
still something
spoilers,
that you
please.
yeah, is it still something that you can enjoy? So we'll hear
Well,
back from him. later on. But
my brother said my brother's playing through it, and he said he really likes it. He really enjoys it. But
So
I
it's been
think
brilliant.
you don't have to be too critical. I mean, if you enjoy a game because it's fun, because you like blowing up some zombies and stuff, man, who cares if a critic says like, it wasn't perfect or whatever, or the game design wasn't quite the way I thought it would be, or whatever. It's still a game.
But it's been this divisive, primarily because of the story? Okay, see, so yeah, Jarek says it's he recommends it. Is it a question of the direction that the narrative takes, or is it partly because of the gameplay? Because I thought the original game, Last of Us, was just it was so immersive. I loved the gameplay. I love the gameplay mechanics, being able to craft and kill and sneak around. Sure, it's nothing original, but it was riveting. It was engaging, and
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of like the original Resident Evil, where you had to kind of craft stuff and put stuff together and everything. But the story is what differentiated it, and that opening on the first game was really the one that hooked me. It's the story wise. So I'm half expecting something with the story to be just as something just as dramatic, because that's kind of what the expectation would be. Because if it didn't have something dramatic in the plot, then it wouldn't be a Last of Us game, I suppose.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I will play it eventually. But
I still have
a
whole.
What's your back catalog?
I don't know when I'm going to be able to play that game, because I have a whole laundry list of games that I still have yet to even touch, to even break out of their boxes, and well, actually, most of the games that I've bought now are downloaded. I've like gone all in on the whole digital games. That's the way it goes. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to buying physical discs anymore.
I still like buying physical discs and stuff, because like it's still I have friends who like to borrow games from me, and so when I'm done with it, I'll pass it on, and that's kind of like something you can't do really with a digital. I mean, you can do it by like authorizing their system or that's or something.
Basically what I do, but you can only do it for a handful of people.
Right, and so like, well, I only want to lend my games to a handful of people anyway, so that makes sense.
So yeah, I've got so many games I haven't even touched. On the Switch alone, I've got maybe around 40 games that I haven't finished. So I bought like a 512 gigabyte memory card and just filled it up with everything from indie games to AAA and everything else in between. I still have to get started on Xenoblade Chronicles, the remastered edition.
Have you never finished any of the iterations that you've had? Because I believe you've owned several iterations, the PC and.
I had it on emulator. I had it on.
Right.
I'm a big emulator fan. I had it on the original on the Wii, and I never really got to play it because my Wii broke down the day I bought Xenoblade Chronicles, and so I took it upon myself to download the illegal copy because I already had the original. So that made me not feel too guilty. And then I played it on the PC for a while using the Dolphin emulator, and just playing it in 4K with new HD textures and all that kind of stuff. It was great. And then my computer conked out, and that was that. And so now I'm playing it again on the Switch. I haven't gotten far, but yeah, it's the time element, man. I mean, I'm glad you're still able to find time to play video games, but I don't know. I mean, it's becoming more of a chore for me nowadays.
It's not a chore. Make it a chore. Come on, you still love it. It's
just having to turn on the
console
and sitting back and
I hope
twiddling my
that's not what
thumbs.
40 that better not be what 40's about, man, because I'm feeling sad if that's where I'm headed because you're acting like that. Oh no.
I'm only a few months older than you, man. I mean, it's gonna happen. I'm kidding.
Well,
No,
Pug
so,
Daddy
yeah.
says digital is so good if you want to play day one. Yes and no, I would have to say, because sometimes you can get a game. They'll release some games earlier here. Like you'll find like an Asian release out like a few days early, and then you can buy that. Whereas, like for me, for example, I have a U.S. account, and I have to wait for it midnight to hit there in the States. So typically I get my games at noon the day they come out, where everyone's had them since the day before. So yeah, I guess in a way there's sometimes when it's actually beneficial for the day one thing. And obviously you get that cool countdown when you're waiting for the game too. That's pretty
Not
cool.
too cool. I mean,
I like it. It's a nice little reminder.
Right.
You know, free up your schedule, Don.
Another great thing about digital, I mean, of course, besides the fact that it just makes playing games that much more convenient, you don't have to get up and switch discs anymore or anything like that. I like that the digital the digital only titles or the digital games tend to go on sale far more often than what we get over here in the Philippines. In fact, I don't think we've ever had any sales over at places like Data Blitz, right?
No, well, but they do have a nice cash discount, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And their PlayStation grades are still on discount, just like they normally would be.
Right. So Bob says the problem with digital purchases is that you cannot resell the games if you finish them. So the best thing to buy digital is when it's a canonical game like Super Smash Brothers that never gets old. True. Yeah, I'd second that. The big problem with digital games is you own the license, but you don't necessarily own the game. So if you lose that license, that's it. If the company, like, God forbid, folds, or like, if, say, what happens if Steam all of a sudden just goes kaput?
Right.
Does that mean all the games that we've downloaded? I mean, look at what's happening to Google Stadia, for instance. And this is the one big issue that people have with the service, is that they don't really own the games.
Right.
Unlike, if you had a physical copy, right? And so you're only being loaned the license. So
like for me,
there are drawbacks.
If I bought the game once, can't I own it in perpetuity? Because, like, for example, like, there were so many really great games that I bought for that fledgling system, the Wii. The RPGs that came out on that thing. I got The Last Story. I played. I do believe that wasn't Xenoblade originally on the original Wii.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
it was, right. So yeah, I played all of those then, and if they're not doing any kind of, like, if it's one of those games where it's not being revamped, it's just being released on the newer system. I bought that game already, right? I would like to play it on my new system, but I mean, I still have it. So it's almost like, imagine every time you bought a DVD player, you had to buy a new disc of the movies that you own. Would you feel okay with that? I don't necessarily.
Well, no, yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I went, all in on digital, because I was expecting that the next generation consoles would be backwards compatible, right? And are we ready to talk about this yet, or are we going to get into that later?
We'll get into it in a little bit. Yeah, a little bit later.
Yeah. So we got some interesting
heads
bits
up.
to. Yeah.
Bug Daddy, I just want to give a heads up. In buying digital games from third-party non-official sellers, you can get banned if the one who sold you the game used less than legal means to buy the games. So does that mean, how would they know, though? That's the thing. Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a code, authentication.
Yeah, because I guess they would kind of catch on if too many different. Because actually, I was looking on Shopee and Lazada recently, right? And I was looking into this game, Cuphead, right? Because I was wondering, how much is Cuphead going for? Is there actually a physical copy? And there isn't one yet, apparently. But it's on sale on Lazada and Shopee. And apparently what people are doing is they're selling their rights to the game so you can play it. And they will authorize your device. And then apparently that's how people are playing games. They're just sharing accounts and selling them online for like maybe 200-300 pesos or something like that.
What
I'm not
the game's
condoning
only
that.
$15.
I know, but I mean, it's a
16.
weird thing. But this guy, like I think he sold thousands. So I don't know how he goes about doing it. Like there must be some kind of formula he's doing to make it all work. So it's really quite interesting the lengths in which people are going to do that.
Right. I'm not quite sure. But there was recently.
There you go.
Kerfuffle. Okay, what's this? My Nintendo account got banned because of this. I bought a game for cheaper from an unauthorized seller. Okay, yeah, and there are third-party. There are like websites in particular that are selling these generated keys. Okay, for games.
Yeah.
And it turns out they're not authorized, or they're not official, and so I forget the name of this particular website or company, but a lot of indie developers, a lot of AAA developers, they were throwing lawsuits at them already because they were making so much money reselling these keys, and they weren't making anything off of it. So yeah, it's a big problem right now in the gaming industry. So we'll see how I don't know how they're going to fix this problem, but lawsuits seem to be working.
Yeah, I suppose, but I guess I'm just old school in the sense that if you have a physical copy, you own a game, just like with anything, if I own a record or if I own a CD or something, I just want to have the liberty of like using it and playing it whenever I want to. I guess
I'm not as attached anymore to games, I guess. So maybe that's why I feel like it's easy for me to just let go. I mean, these are games; they're non-essentials. They probably won't earn me a pretty penny in the future because I mean the games I like tend to be the ones that everybody enjoys, that has mass market appeal. So I'm not gonna go around and collect rare games that I could pawn off or flip in the future. So anyway, yeah, I guess I'm more accepting of this whole idea, this whole shift to digital, and yeah, you can see that's where everybody's going. You've got the PlayStation 5 that's got a digital only edition, and
right. So clearly, it's gonna head there for sure, for sure. So anyway, one of the games that I've been playing recently, I even went through the trouble of even purchasing some special equipment for it, is this game, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Have you guys heard of this game?
It's amazing.
It's really quite cool. It's such a great, if you have a great like PC at home, this is one of those games that you want to get to really make use of that graphics engine. Because I don't know if you can see here. I'll try to bring this down.
Let's show some footage.
Breaking anything, but like this is I got like a little flight stick.
Oh, you were able to.
Yeah,
those things are so hard to find now.
I know. I actually bought it on Facebook Marketplace. I was able to get like a second-hand one. But yeah, it's so nice. I was able to fly over my house. I found my house on the map, and
that's insane.
I would.
Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos online. Going over different parts of the Philippines. Going to all the tourist destinations like Boracay, and it's all modeled. It's completely modeled. They've got like I saw Boracay that had Station 1, Station 2, and you could make out what those buildings were. It was insane. So
I live right next to the school, and like I live next to a school, and I live next to like a football field,
right,
and like a track, and like from the game I could see the track from the airplane, and I saw like SLEX, and I could see EDSA, and I could see the bay, and it was like, wow, that's really cool. And like it basically downloads data from Google Maps and does it like
Is it Google Maps
or Google Earth. I think it's Google Earth, not Maps. Earth. Yeah, it's quite good.
I saw one video where they showed they're comparing Google Earth to Flight Simulator, and they're close. Google Maps or Google Earth rather was not as detailed, but I guess what Microsoft is doing, if in fact they're using Google Earth, is they're farming out the information and then creating the graphics on the fly or something like that. Instantiating them in some way through some weird magic of algorithms and whatever. but
Thanks for that breakdown.
No, it's really amazing, and a game like this is so profoundly relevant right now because we can't travel, and so this is like a wish fulfillment for so many gamers out there who want to travel. But yeah, and I mean, I would love to just sit back, relax, and take a 2-hour flight or 4-hour flight to Japan, and pretend that I'm really visiting the country for a stopover or something like that. It's that really draws me in. I'm hoping I have the like. See, Hug Daddy over here says he hopes he has a PC that can play the game, and that's I feel the same way. I'm waiting for the next generation consoles to play the game, because that probably will have it'll be more beefy than the rig that I have right now. You'll have a pretty good.
So here's
let's see what it looks like.
Here's what it looks like for all you people. Like that's a game. Yep. So
Amazing.
you get really high levels of detail, terrain, and the whole thing. And it sounds kind of nerdy and kind of dorky in a way sometimes. Like, it's like a simulator. It's not like a game itself necessarily. You just have to land the plane, you fly the plane, and it's not like you're fighting aliens while you're in the air or anything like that. But it's one of those games that you would just kind of chill, relax, listen to a podcast, fly, and maybe I don't know, check out how your pilot voice sounds like, can practice that. I was totally doing that. Like, I'm flying the plane and I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, we're traveling at 20,000 knots. We're a flight speed of blah, 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 blah. We should be arriving at our destination in about 1 hour and 25 minutes. Hope you are enjoying the flight. This is Captain Puno. Signing off or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's
right, yeah,
stupid, absolutely. But I like it. It's fun. It's maybe an acquired taste, but what the hell?
I've actually watched videos of pilots playing the game, and they're just floored. Right. They're floored by the the majestic graphics, and actually seeing things that they've seen themselves, flying to different airports and different destinations. And yeah, this is something. This is really something special. And the fact that they were able to pretty much replicate the entire world, the entire Earth, in this game, it boggles the mind. I mean, how much better can they get? I don't know. I mean, this is so close to reality already. And
they're gonna do a VR of this too, which is gonna be just incredible.
Speaking of VR, I'm also waiting for Squadrons, the new
Star Wars Squadrons. That's gonna be really cool. Yeah, I can't wait for that too.
Oh my God, I am going to want to borrow that flight stick of yours one of these days. If I can't get my hands on one. But
you're talking about my controller, right?
Yes, exactly. I just want to put it in my hand, wiggle it a bit, and then
press down on the throttle.
Hands, bite down on
It always leads to this, Robbie. What the
sorry,
hell?
Okay.
But like
yeah.
I secretly like it. No. All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
What else are we talking about?
Let's talk about this right here. This is interesting.
Oh, all right. Interesting. And a golem. Who the hell asked for this? Okay, I mean, historically, drug addicts have never really had a lot of role models that they could idolize until now, apparently. So yeah, Golem. This is a game that's coming out to next generation consoles, right? And I guess it lets them live out their dreams as everyone's favorite fantasy meth head. That's what Golem looks like to me. It's either that or he's like an emaciated gelfling. If you that's a Dark Crystal reference there. But yeah, or like Abe from Abe's Odyssey. That he just, I don't know. I saw some other footage of him, and he doesn't look quite the same as I remembered him. But yeah, I don't know. Thankfully, though, we do have Golem here to tell us all about this game. We have a very special guest, and he's here to tell us whether or not this game's going to be good. And let's all please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, or the former Hobbit himself, our slimy, morally ambiguous, two-faced creature friend, Golem. Thank you for being here with us. Golem.
Hello, everybody. It's very good to be here. I'm so happy to be here. Oh boy, it's amazing. I have a video game.
I know. I mean, of all the things in the Lord of the Rings to turn into a video game, why Golem?
Treebeard was on a sabbatical, and the Balrog said he needed to focus on his streaming career, so they had to settle for me. Beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, okay. So wait, I'm talking to Smeagol here, right? You sound more like Smeagol.
Yep, that's me. I'm Smeagol.
Great. Okay, now can you possibly give our viewers a little bit of your backstory, at least for those who haven't seen or read any of the Lord of the Rings movies or books?
Sure, I can do that. I can tell people. Yes, I was a man like any other, full of hope, happiness, and vitality. And then, one day, I turned into a repulsive, shriveled, twisted shell of what I once was. All because of a stupid ring.
Right. Yeah, the one ring to rule them all, the ring of power, right?
No, stupid. My wedding ring.
Ah.
Stupid Hobbit. You should have stayed single. We could have been free. Free, I tells you.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming that we're talking to Golem now, right? Okay. So, yeah, Golem, please, if you will, let's talk about the game. How exactly are you going to? How do people play this game? I mean, you're obviously like two halves of the same person. So will this be a single player affair, or will it be co-op, or how does it play out?
You'll be able to switch between Golem and Smeagol at the press of a button. The circle button, to be exact, because it looks like.
Oh, yeah, okay, got it, yeah. clever. And press X to say my precious.
Like a
or-
ring, circle dummy. Yeah.
Okay. So wait, hold on. Okay, I've got a question. If you both play significantly like equal roles, you Golem and Smeagol, then why isn't the game called Smeagol or Smeagol / Golem or what?
Because Golem's got a better ring to it.
Okay, right. I see what you did there. So now that you're starring in your own game, what's next for you?
Oh, you know, I want to make a jump to other games, silly.
Game?
You know, like, sure, like I want to try Star Wars, maybe Snoke in his teen years.
Ah, right. Well, you kind of bear an uncanny resemblance. Yes. Very nice.
I
Okay.
always wanted to meet Beyonce. I hear she likes to put rings on it. Rings.
Okay. Anything else? Do you have any other plans?
I've always wanted to put up my own accessory shop or jewelry store.
Right. Okay. We'll maybe sell wedding rings, perhaps, and other trinkets. Is that
Sure,
the plan?
maybe I can go to rehab. People say I should go to rehab. I look like
Oh,
a
well.
crack.
Okay. Well, you certainly have the makings of certain kind of stereotypical Hollywood celebrity. That's for sure. But anyway, yeah. Well, thank you for shedding some light on your new game. Best of luck on it. Yeah, I'm still not quite sure about it, but I certainly hope that you can pop by again and we can ask you to join us to promote the game closer to the release. Maybe tell us a little bit more about it when you have more details, right?
Sure, I'll be back another time. I'll make sure to drop in.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for being here. Geez, ladies and gentlemen, that was Golem, the one and only. More like two and only Golem / Smeagol. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, I totally missed that part.
Hey, Don, where'd you go?
I don't know. I lost connection for a little while. So, but that was pretty cool. You had that Gollum on the show. That's amazing.
Yeah, too bad you didn't get to talk to him. He was confusing, to say the least.
All right. Well, that's cool. I think we're gonna go ahead and segue now into.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the one ring to rule them all, let's talk about the one console to rule them all. Which one will it be? Will it be our next generation PS5 or the Xbox Series X?
Actually, Rob, let's go ahead and talk about that closer to the tail end of the show, because it seems like our guest is just waiting in the wings already.
No kidding.
Yeah. So the
Fantastic.
great Anthony Francisco from Marvel Studios is going to be joining us very shortly. But first, I just want to go ahead and show a little video that he produced that would give everybody a nice little background on him. So, guys, check this out.
And thanks to Pug Daddy for the shout out.
Whatever you do, don't push this button.
I'm Groot.
No!
Reference is not just a visual, it's a feeling. When I create these characters, I draw from personal experiences. There's a time when, things weren't so good in the Philippines. Walking to school with some friends, we saw a dead body, and it was very traumatic. Comic book became my outlet to see the world being saved by heroes. Charlie Wen, he got me in for Guardians of the Galaxy to do Aliens. And from there, my first main character that I got to work on was Baby Groot. James Gunn came to me, he wanted a really cute character, but to get me through into Baby Groot, I was heavily influenced by my kids. While I was designing Baby Groot, my kids were a big influence. The other characters that I worked on is Loki for Thor Ragnarok, Hulk from Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange. In Infinity War, I did a lot of kind of cool stuff on that too, which I can't talk about. I also do keyframe art to help the director visualize the scene, from the lighting to the feel. So, for example, Ant-Man, we wanted to show how the miniature world would look like. It's a crazy feeling that my designs are up on a big screen, and it's iconic now. Everyone's like cosplaying it. And I would have never dreamt that my designs could be that influential. And to top it off, to be part of the team that created Black Panther, the biggest superhero film of all time. And I feel so fortunate. I created Okoye, the general of the Dora Milaje, and Nakia's costume, which ended up being the Dora Milaje costume. And, in the Philippines, we have a lot of warriors there, people fighting against colonialism. So the first thing that came to my mind from my inspiration was the Igorots, the Ifugao. Remembering the Igorot having the little sash that comes down and how that's built helped me design the costume for the Dora Milaje. The flexibility and the freedom to create is why I love art. Everyone's creative in their own way, and they have a lens that they see things and translate things. I hope I really get to inspire people and get to inspire people from the Philippines, because that's where I came from. And to know that no matter where you are in life, if you just focus and work hard, you will get to where you want to go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the
I just had
program.
an nerdgasm. Sorry, excuse me.
A good friend of mine, Mr. Anthony Francisco. Hey, Anthony, how's it going, man?
Thanks for having me. What? I
Holy
didn't hear you.
Moses! Oh man, Anthony Francisco, thank you so much for being here with us. How are you?
How are you, buddy? So, what time is it where you're at?
It is what time is it? It's 6:20, 6:30. 6:30.
6:30 in the morning. Thanks so much for getting up and joining us for the show, man. How have you been?
Good. Things have been crazy, busy. I can't hear yes.
Me,
I can't
Robbie,
hear
yes.
Him.
Oh, you can't
I
hear
don't know
me.
why. I could hear him earlier with Smeagol.
Oh no, what happened?
When they were talking, but now for some reason I can't hear him.
Oh man.
Okay, let's see.
Hi, Nathania.
It's okay. You don't need to hear that guy anyway. He's not important.
All right. How's that now?
What happened?
Can you hear me now?
To that, but
Still
but
nothing.
yeah, things have. Oh man, I should. But things have been busy.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you can't hear Robbie right now. We'll try to figure out what's going on with that.
Robbie.
Not sure why. Let's maybe
Test mic 1 2. Test. Nothing.
Maybe if I.
How about now? If I make him bigger, does that help?
Hello.
Oh no, it still doesn't.
Still nothing.
Is it on my end? Maybe I need to say, sorry, technical difficulties here. I don't want to go back out and come back in the.
Well, why don't we try that? Yeah.
Because earlier I could hear him earlier.
Yeah, let's try that.
Strange.
Maybe did I press?
I'll just go out and come back in real quick.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
How strange.
Okay, and that's Anthony Francisco, and we're done with that.
Well, that was a lengthy conversation. We covered a lot. Got to learn about his history and so much more. And wait, so can you hear me?
I can hear
right?
you. I can hear you just fine. I think everybody else hear Anthony.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I mean, people are already saying, he seems like he's got such a down to earth aura. Oh, there we go.
There, I can hear you now.
Yes.
All right.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We're
Excellent.
back in action.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, why are you the
So-
focus there? That's better.
There we go. Anthony,
I
thank you so
realized
much
how
for being
close
here.
That was to my face here.
So, Anthony, we just a little background for everybody. We met right before all of this craziness went down, right? I was on a trip to LA in January, and our good mutual friend Ryan Moore he just said, you guys have to meet each other. You guys, I just have a feeling you're going to get along really well. And so we did. We met. We had breakfast one day.
Yeah.
And we got to bond a little bit, and it was really cool.
Yeah,
It was
we
really cool
talked pretty
experience.
long. It's like I've known him for a long time.
Yeah, like we knew each other for years, and he gave me this book right here.
Yes, that's
it's really cool. And he also gave me this wonderful dedication with his baby Groot on it. And
That's freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my cherished items. I really love it, and and I'm still gonna hold you to that trip to Marvel Studios next time I'm in LA.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know when we'll be back there. I've been working from home ever since the pandemic started. So maybe when a vaccine is made, I guess that's when we'll go back to work, which I don't mind. I'd rather be working from home. No, I'm just kidding. I miss the guys sometimes. Some days you want to be at work so you could brainstorm and just socialize, but you'd think work will slow down. But I think since we did let go of a lot of people, there's just the core people from BizDev that stayed, and the work just kept on going. The same amount of work, I guess. So
it
being at
hasn't
home,
changed much.
Yeah, the hard thing of being at home when you're working and work's not at work is you just keep on working and the lines are blurred, and I just want to keep on finishing my work, which is not good. So the discipline is to work out at least 1 hour a day, but sometimes I'm just sitting down and working.
Right. And I bet you're spending a lot of time with your children as well, and maybe they're also influencing your work even more.
Yeah, that's the best part. I think I get to see them and as often as I want, and luckily we have a pool back here, so we get to swim. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So Anthony, can you tell our audience what exactly is your designation? What is your role in Marvel Studios? I mean, just so that we can clear the air.
So I'm a senior visual development artist. So
what does that mean?
So what the visual development team at Marvel Studios, we're like a full-time staff of artists that design all the heroes and villains of the MCU. So sometimes we even get the task of designing them before the director or the costume designer is even chosen. So like
so
for
it's
example,
a lot of pre-production concept stuff.
Yeah, and the reason why we could do this is because the designs that we pull from are already from the comic books,
right.
And we don't even need a script yet to start designing them. And the script is always based off the comic, and we always try to keep it true to the source material, and that's why Marvel had trust us a lot. The department's headed by Ryan Meinerding, so he used to be I used to teach a class with Kevin Chen, and he used to be our student before a long time ago.
Cool.
So he's the guy. So he's the guy who designed all the Captain Americas.
That's amazing.
In all of the MCU.
All the different outfits. All the
different outfits. Winter Soldier, and then with me, I designed all the Groot, so Baby Groot all the way up to Teen Groot. So what's nice is since there's like 6 of us. Before there's just 5 of us, but we all know each other from before when we were going to school, or even Andy Park, Jackson Zay, they were my students before. They were already really good before. That's what's nice is that we're friends, and we know what artists want, like ownership of the character. So when you have a character that's approved, we kind of take it all the way through all the movies. So like for example, Black Panther, the 4 or 5 of the designs were already approved before Ruth Carter was even hired.
Incredible.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so, like, how long have you been working in the States? I know you originally lived here in the Philippines, but when did you make the move? And how long did it take for you to just go up the ranks?
And yeah, like where did you go to school? Like where did you grow up? Like what's your hood out here?
Cubao. Cubao is the place. Yeah, Cubao. Aurora
That's so
Boulevard. That's where
Wow,
I'd be
that is so
walking around there with all the basketball courses in the, on the streets. We loved playing basketball back then. But I got to the States at I was already 18 or turning
right, a
18.
teenager, right?
Yeah, and that time it was like I thought that feeling of I won't see my friends ever again. I don't know why my parents never told me just save money and then you could just go back to the Philippines and visit them again. For some reason it was
There's
very,
always
like,
Zoom.
and now there's Zoom, right? Yeah, but it took
right.
me 20 years. I've been doing this for actually 22 years. I've been at Marvel
Wow.
for 8 years now.
Wow, and you were grinding the entire like first half of your life there. I mean, apart from school, right? What was your first like paying job?
First paying job
Yeah.
here would be, what was it? Working at Costco. Then as soon as I got
Costco.
here, yeah,
Nice.
that's the
But
first
as an
paying
artist, I
job.
mean, was it hard to find work over there, or
For
as an
I think
artist?
for regular jobs, it didn't seem difficult. Looking for work, I guess I'm always a hard worker, but I think I don't know. I never really had. I mean, I didn't get all the jobs I applied for. I mean, I tried for the first job I ever tried out for here in the United States is Ben and Jerry's in Burbank, the one in Burbank, in one of
Yeah.
the theaters over there. Yeah, they did. They said no. So
Wow. Well, you should have shown them drawings of
But you're like
yeah,
ice cream.
yeah, they're like he was probably asking about makapuno and ube ice cream and they were
yeah,
like, get out of here. I don't have any flavors like that.
I think
But like
after
but
was
yeah,
it
like I
extent-
really I have experience also in that retail industry as well. I started off as in Best Buy when I was living there for college. So I kind of understand what the Costco life is like too.
yeah, Costco is like I handled the hot dog stand and the line is just like forever. There's no line, there's no end in the line. Just by yourself, you're rolling the hot dogs, you're giving in churros and all that stuff. It was so stressful that I was sleeping. I had a nightmare. Churro.
But Anthony, what kickstarted your career as an artist?
Oh, as an artist, how did that happen? That was I think, wow, I'm trying to recall. I just remember that.
I have your IMDb cheat sheet right here if you'd like
Yeah.
to refer to it for you. Is it you worked on? Was it a Spielberg film at the very AI? Was that
AI? Yeah, that's one
Wow.
of the first things I worked on. But okay, but maybe it's just so early in the morning. My brain's just like connecting the. But this is how I think what really triggered the moment I realized I needed to be an artist was when I was about to do a class with my sister for she was gonna do dentist assistant, and I was gonna do physical therapy, I think, assistant.
Of course,
And-
because
yeah.
you're Pinoy.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
my relatives here wanted us to work already, and I think when I gave my card, because I went to UST in the Philippines, I went to college for a little bit before I came here, and I gave the counselor my card that read Bachelor of Fine Arts and Architecture, and then
Mhm.
that's when I realized, you're right, that's what I was. What am I doing here? And she didn't realize after she read that, she just told me that that's what I need to be and what I need to do art. And then I I just went to PCC for a little bit. I didn't take take
That's
any
Pasadena City College, right?
Pasadena State College, yes, and I didn't take any classes for grades or anything like that. I just took art classes, and my mom was wondering, "Are you not trying to graduate and go to another school?" And I go, "No, I'm just trying to build my portfolio, and I don't
man.
need grades. I'm just the way I act. It just seemed like but it's not like I'm acting all high and mighty. I just knew what I needed. I just needed
Right.
art,
Sure.
practice to build up my portfolio, to send it out to to Magic the Gathering. I think that's the first place I wanted to work for.
Anthony, can I
Yeah.
just say that I'm living vicariously through you right now, because I was once an artist. I was once in animation, and
Oh, cool.
like I used to do 2D, 3D animation, and then I
That's
just totally
awesome.
gave up on the dream. And so to see you, a guy like you, just manage to just take it and run with it and succeed, it's inspiring, to
Oh,
say the
thank you
least.
so much.
It really is.
I don't know
wanna,
what,
I feel like I want to draw again.
You should. Drawing actually helps it. It's like therapy,
Right.
You should say
Oh,
hi.
man.
You have so many people watching you guys. Nathalie, I say hi. I want to say hi, and the other guys saying hi right now.
Bob said hi as well. Yeah. Is that
Hi,
a baby
guys.
Groot hat?
Nathalie,
that you-
Ruby.
Yeah. Is that a baby Groot hat you're wearing? I think Bob
Yes,
was asking.
it's a baby Groot hat.
Now
This
let's
is
talk about
this
that.
is one of our
Oh, that's
crew
amazing.
gifts. They gave
Oh,
this to
you
us.
get-
This is actually
you
one
get
of
the
my
coolest
drawings
swag.
they put on here.
And
That's
and
right.
so you,
Yeah.
it was Baby Groot originally from, I'm not that big a fan of the comics anymore, but was
Yeah.
Baby Groot in the comics, or was that an
No.
original
Yeah,
creation
it
of
was
yours?
Groot, just the adult Groot was in the comics, and
Right.
James Gunn actually came up with the idea, I think, of Baby Groot. And then I designed Baby Groot, so as dubbed the visual father of Baby Groot. That's why
That's amazing.
during Comic-Con, I was like, wow, I never thought of that. I forgot. Oh my god, her name is slipping my mind. She was our moderator, and she just said that, and the crowd went wild and said, oh, I should keep that more often. The visual father, Baby Groot. But I think eventually, like the guys at my work just say you created Baby Groot. So
Wow. But you weren't
Yeah.
I
just
see the resemblance.
responsible.
I see the resemblance.
But you weren't just responsible for designing these characters. You also created whole scenes, right, for the movies.
Yeah.
Can you talk us
What's
through
nice
that?
with the visual development team, right? We're so close to the pipeline, like it's like President, Kevin Feige, President Marvel, and then we're right below him, so he just could tell
Wow.
us exactly.
Oh
And
my
he'd come in the
gosh.
office, and
Cool.
we talk to him sometimes, and he knows our names.
Wow.
Ryan
You
Myerding,
breathed
the
the
head
same
of the
air.
yeah, and he's a really nice guy, and I think
Do you have a
Isn't that-
nickname for him? Do you call him like
no,
Just
Kevin.
Kevin?
Just Kevin, yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, we have another artist who's tuned in right now. He's a 3D artist. He's sensational. His name is Noel Cortez. He's actually been
Noel.
looking for and I told him about this because he was my classmate way back when, and he is an aspiring artist as well, and so to hear the story from you, I'm sure inspires him as well. He's looking for
Yeah.
work. If you got work for him, just give him. You know how to get
Yeah,
in touch
just
with him.
send me your email me
Portfolio.
at Anthony ubermonster.anthony@gmail.com. Oh, and if anybody wants the book, just email me at ubermonster. You can just type that in
That's
somewhere,
freaking
right?
awesome, man.
It's a really, really awesome book, actually. Super duper cool. So going back to some of the scenes that you were doing, like what are the key scenes that everybody who's a fan of the Marvel universe would actually notice right
Well,
away that's
I-
one of your scenes, that's one of your brainchild?
So yeah. Sorry, I always do these long explanations when someone asks a question, because Viz Dev team, the visual development department, is not really known, but slowly we're being we're getting out there. Even Marvel is promoting us with like special features for Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's special feature about our
Right.
group. But yeah, so what it is, we also come up with keyframe art, right? So and even high level concepts that actually make it into the script. So if you watch like Ant-Man, and you see him feeding sugar water to Anthony, remember that scene? That was not in the script. So I researched about ants so much that they love sugar water, and as a treat, if you treat them like a pet, like your pet dog, so you give them a treat. So I did that piece feeding the sugar water, and we have a friend that was an editor. That's the editor for Ant-Man, and he told me that they have that image like on the wall, just remembering that this is the feeling of this movie. This is the heart of the movie. I was like, oh, that's so amazing. I didn't know that that's how far my keyframe went. So they wrote that in the film. Yeah. And some other bigger ideas like
Thor, right? Thor and the Hulk and the Ragnarok scenes and stuff.
Yeah. One big one for me was Infinity War and Endgame. So I don't know if you know this, Don. I don't know if you talked about this before.
Yeah, we did a little. Yeah.
Oh, we did a little like for.
Yeah, but super fanboying when you were telling me all this.
Yes. So it's not in the art book, so it's like I don't know how to let people know about it. So in interviews, I'm able to talk about it where they tasked me with the Thanos and Doctor Strange battle. Like, how would it look like?
The Doctor Strange battle,
yeah. So they asked me, hey,
butterflies and all of that.
Yeah, come up with something epic and crazy. Something you've never seen before. I was like, oh, how? But I love doing that stuff. I love those challenges, even though it seems so difficult at the time. So what I did was so if he'll have four the soul what
the rings,
Infinity Stones, yeah. So he we didn't know what it was yet, but I don't know exactly what it was, but I decided to, what if he could open portals and take the Halley's Comet out of orbit and bring it down on Doctor Strange, or if it's just one of those, what if he could take more of those, and what if he takes a whole planet and brings it into the into Titan and break into chunks and throw it down, or the moon.
Yeah,
and as I was pitching this. Yeah, and I was pitching it, and I did images of it. I did like even the sun, him using a black hole to take the fire out of the sun and bring it down on Doctor Strange. So, I watch a lot of Cosmos, and I use a lot of that kind of ideas in there. And then you see the film, and they made it even look cooler, because I think mine was a little so crazy that you had to bring it down to just not as crazy, but some of the rock shapes they used look like my illustrations. Wow. And that was really, that made me really happy. They put that in there. The Russo brothers liked it right away. My first pass on it.
I love how it sounds so outlandish.
Yeah, it did. I didn't think they'd go for it. Like they approved all the ideas, and they just they took the ideas and then they made it look even better on screen. So it's not just I could just take credit for the beginning phase of it,
I would have loved to be there at the pitch meeting where you're saying, okay, we're gonna get a meteor and we're gonna hurl it into the into the planet, and they're like, okay, yeah, that sounds so about right.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. Yeah. But I love that they're that open-minded, because it seems like in this day and age where there's a lot of studio meddling when it comes to the creative process and trying to get it like a certain way. It seems like it's a really good collaboration and a meeting of the minds.
It is the ego of wanting to have all the answers isn't there. They trust their artist. I mean, they've gone through some design phases in the beginning of Marvel where they'd hire the costume designer, let's say, and they always want to put their own spin on stuff and not be true to the comic or something like that. Like X-Men before, right? X-Men, it was awesome. I loved it. But as X-Men was the first comic books I collected. They didn't wear that black leather. No, they
didn't.
Yeah, it still
yellow
looks
suits. The yellow, even Jubilee had the yellow outfits, and
like all of them had it. They didn't try to. I mean, the characters were fine. Wolverine, I guess, was the one closest to the comic book. Even Rogue wasn't the age she's supposed to be.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, so they're always trying to not give the fans of the comic book what they want. And here at Marvel, we give them what they want and more, and make
stuff
it.
they didn't even know they wanted.
Yes, yeah. I think that's why I'm a fan first. So I try to make it look like the comic book as
But
much
where
as
do you
I
go
can.
now? How do you even top that in the next movie? I mean,
There's one more thing I want to talk about. The end game one that I'm also
okay,
proud
yes,
of.
please.
Yeah. Please
I-
tell. Sure.
I got to design the time travel visual for that. So that was my other task.
That's so
All
cool.
this really difficult tasks that you can't show real art for, because
Right.
my art for that is something I don't want to show because it's like a little animatic, but it's really rough. But what it is trying to figure out a quick, easy visual of showing how everyone looks like they're about to time travel, and then the tunnel they go through, and then that's it, and you kind of understand. So what it was is them shrinking to really small, and then bouncing on the ground, and then the wave kind of, that ripple opens ripples in time, and then you go through it like because a particle behaves like a wave in a ray or something. Like, I forgot exactly what it was, but Morgan Freeman was talking about it in one of his science things, and I was like, whoa. And I was seeing these particles like jumping and these waves opening up, and then that's how I thought, oh, that's a good idea to make
light.
them. Like when you're
light
bouncing,
travels in a
and then you're bouncing on it. I was thinking, as he's bouncing, that's what opens it up, and a hole opens up, and she goes through time. So
that was insane. So you that was your brainchild, basically.
Yeah, and they liked it. I was like, I can't believe they liked it my first try, when people were already trying out like the art department stuff, and I don't know, how am I gonna work on, how am I gonna help out with this? And
is there a lot of pressure?
I just got lucky.
Is there a lot of pressure to like present? I mean, were there any ideas that were shot down that you made?
Yeah, a lot of ideas were shot down. I'm used to failing already by now, that it doesn't affect me anymore. I think that's one thing that beginning students should know is, be patient. Don't be hard on yourself. When you fail, you want to fail. Right. You want to fail as many times as you can, but you want to learn from it. And if you fail many times, then you're just going to be accepting that, that you can't solve every problem, but you'll try your best solving them. And when that happens, when you have no more hope with solving, then you just do your best already, and you just, whatever happens.
There's a saying in advertising, you have to learn to kill your baby.
Yeah.
I know it sounds really morbid, but I can understand. I mean, things that you slave over for so long, and you pour all your blood, sweat, and tears to create, and then all of a sudden, just like that, they're like, They don't even give it a second thought.
I think that's why I don't really pour all my blood, sweat, and tears in it. I just make it light and then come up with crazier ideas. I mean, I did pour a lot of effort in the Dormilaje. That has so much design that I've done even in the past that's been rejected, pieces or pieces of the armor that I put somewhere else, and and most of it came from another artwork I was doing a while back in like this role play game that wasn't approved, and then I just kind of used all that vocabulary I had through the years and put it all in this thing. So I'm glad they took that, because if that was denied, maybe that would be probably more devastating. But again, it's easy to, it's not easy, but you just have to get back up again.
So if there's one project that you're like really attached to, it's that the Dormilaje, the design.
Yeah,
that you made
the Dormilaje and Baby Groot. I think
Baby
Groot though came easier, not easier, just because my kids were my inspirations, right? And just I think when you put emotion in your artwork, you could see it. Like another one is Loki, the Loki design for Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
That
yeah.
one, yeah.
That was interesting, because you were telling me about little details in the costume of Loki, and the reasoning behind all of it. Like there are little inspirations and little cues in each of the bits of the costume design.
Oh my gosh, I want to know
Yeah,
about these things.
Yeah.
Wait, tell me too. I mean, I saw you. There was like a speed drawing that you did on your YouTube channel that I got to see, but I don't really know the backstory of it. Please enlighten.
Well, I think because Loki was one of my first key characters that I got to design. It's Charlie Wen. He was co-head of visual development. He since left the project, but he is a really good friend, and he.
Oh, I think we lost some audio. Oh no!
Yeah,
There.
there you go.
Background. Okay. Yeah. So what happened? But he designed Loki the first time. So when Thor Ragnarok came around and I had to design him, I had to fill these big shoes because he's an amazing artist, and he designed Star-Lord and those guys. But when he left, when Taika Waititi decided that he wanted a brand new Loki, then that's where
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Parang,
that guy's also a really fun guy.
You call him T-Dubs? Yo, T-Dubs.
He does.
Si compadre.
Yeah, and he didn't want it to look like the old Loki, like everything brand new. So then that's where I'm glad he gave me free reign, and because the story, I try to put a lot of story in my design as much as I can with the main characters anyway. So since he lost his dad and his mom, and it's his whole world got turned inside out. So I had these other designs that I would show off where the yellow was on the outside instead of on the inside, and the green was more in the inside. So I'd be twisting him inside out because he felt, my dad's dead, my mom's dead, and I'm mourning inside. So my final design actually had purple inside the armor, like the inside armor, because to symbolize him being sad, and the diagonal lines that I have on his chest is because he's imbalanced and everything's asymmetrical, all on one side, heavy on one side. But then some of the pieces would still echo Asgardian pieces, like the little check kind of mark on his chest. That actually started as a big because I was thinking, what if he liked jewelry a lot? Because he had a big piece before. Everything felt like jewelry, like Mr. T. What's the iconic symbol I could put on him? And it started actually as because Loki, like an L. I put a big L chain on him in the beginning. I would draw that, just, okay, what's this L? Even though it's not going to end up like that, I would just draw it and paint it, and it slowly morphed into something more, more futuristic or more Asgardian, in spite of the whole costume being more Sakara look. So that became a little check right on the chest.
I love hearing the whole creative process and how everything works.
Yeah.
And even his helmet. So I'm so proud of this design. I love that version of the helmet in the comic books because X-Men Asgardian Wars, he wore that helmet with the open top showing the hair.
Right.
And that one, I designed that too. That was a how do you say this, a blast to design, I guess. That was and even showing the ears out like that, we were able to really guide the costume team to follow the design as close as I can. I mean, the colors maybe not exact, but the cuts are there. And Andy Park, he led the art department, Vizda for that film. He actually drew Tomb Raider too. I don't know if people know that in the comic books. That's his claim to fame in the beginning.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he really helped. How do you say this? Make me have free reign on establishing the look for Loki from now, till later.
That's amazing. So we're gonna see new iterations of Loki in the future.
Well, there's gonna be a Loki streaming show.
Right.
Yeah,
Are you responsible for that?
Yeah. No, unfortunately, I didn't get to really work on that. But they did use a lot of my design elements as
as a starting point.
As
As a
like
starting
their
point,
language,
yeah.
the design language.
Yeah, but it's a whole brand new show, so yeah, which I don't really know about it as much, the story.
Sure, you don't.
Is there anything you can
Right.
divulge about like future projects?
Well, I could say there's there'll be a number of future streaming projects, and
That haven't been revealed yet.
that haven't. Well, some have been revealed. You've heard of. Let me think.
Be
Moon
careful.
Knight, right? Moon Knight. I could
Moon
say
Knight,
all-
yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
Moon Knight.
That's been revealed. Well,
What was the other
have
one?
they, have they
She-Hulk.
confirmed it?
WandaVision.
WandaVision, yes.
Those are all been somewhat announced, yes. And
Yeah,
then-
Right.
yeah.
Miss
But,
Marvel, She-Hulk.
Going back to the Black Panther outfits, though, like you were saying that was
Yeah.
an inspired. There were Filipino elements in that design.
Oh yeah. So
That's pretty cool.
the idea was so when I was researching about this, but the research has been going on even before I was at Marvel. I love African artifacts and African tribal costumes, and I even read like African stories and stuff back then. Maybe because it's very close to the ideas that I've learned when I was in the Philippines about our own culture. And if you really look, I guess, watch science shows or you would see that they would say that a lot of life started in Africa. And
Yeah.
if that is true, then the research probably would show that a lot of the designs would go off into different places. And I would assume that it reached the Philippines or even the Native Americans, in South America, North America.
Right.
And if you look through the designs, there's some similarities to the African, culture. Or so that's where I feel I started, and that's how I feel like even though I've used all these elements and combined them into, this Wakanda kind of look where they've never been colonized. How would that look like? So that was Ryan Coogler's in the initial kind of explanation when he was talking to me. Like, imagine they were never colonized. How would their artwork look like, or their traditional garb look like? All that stuff. So I looked at every like tribe
Culture.
or warrior in around
Okay,
the world, and tried to see the oldest version of it where they're not colonized, and you will be able to find stuff like that, even African tribes, Zulu nation, or the most iconic warrior that everyone knows in the world is the samurai, right? That's what it seemed like. And I always wonder why it's the samurai when you've got, how come no one knows about the Chinese warriors and
Like the
Filipino
Mongols.
warriors, right? And Filipino warriors look very iconic. They just look badass, like a lot of them. And when I was younger, I guess I didn't see that because there's a lot of Western movies, and you just see these Western heroes most of the time, and they don't look like that. And I'm ashamed to say that wasn't like something. I always just wanted to see these Western images, but then you like the samurai a lot, but I still have to say some African images still hold in my head, and some of the older Ifugao images when I was younger in the Philippines. So that still was in my head. But anyway, sorry, my explanation's a bit long, but
No, it's fine.
I went with the
Can I-
samurai outfit and said,
Yeah.
can I design something that's as iconic as the samurai for Wakanda, for Africa? That's what I
I
decided.
certainly think you accomplished that because it's very, very iconic. I think everybody recognizes it right away.
Yeah, can I just jump in here and
Yeah,
say
yes.
when I first watched Black Panther, I kid you not, when I saw the designs of the Dormilaje, the first thing that really popped into my mind was Igorot.
Really, that's so
Pinoy inspired. I was like,
That's
wow, so African kind of looks like, Pinoy garb, and in
Yeah.
my mind, that's what was going through, and it's so funny how that apparently was the case. In fact, that I mean that
Yeah.
you had a hand in it, and you slipped in a little bit of Pinoy into the designs, and it really shined through. You really communicated it
Yeah.
effectively.
I'm glad
Because
people see that.
yeah, because even if all of this whole the whole design thing is so esoteric, there's just something that sort of just translates or transcends all the little details and becomes a little bit more. I don't know. You're able to hit the subconscious with your designs, I think, and that's what probably makes you an effective artist, because I mean, maybe these shapes and colors and things, they don't necessarily translate literally to like what you were explaining about Loki's costume, but for some reason they still hit you as if there's like a hidden meaning and hidden influences. And I guess that's what makes you successful as an artist. It's really it's fascinating.
I'm glad you like that, and I'm glad people could see that. And now that
Yeah.
I I now that I get to do more interviews, I get to explain it a little more, because it's harder. I don't talk really smoothly. Sometimes I kind of hesitate when I talk to make sure I say the right stuff. But if like with Don, when we're talking, it just flows a little easier when it's just a few people. But it does
Right.
feel like a few people here, just a few hundred people watching. But yeah, the story, the symbolism, and the the hidden meanings or something. I love like watching a lot of shows about that, and I try to incorporate that in there, and I think the reason why people feel strongly about the Dora Milaje is not just because of the costume, but because of the character, the actors that played them, and
Right.
them wearing it. And I actually painted Denai Guerrero's face on the design I made.
Yeah.
And she was my first pick for, if I was casting someone, she's the first one. She's the Dora Milaje. And I put her head in there. I bald her head. And, Ryan, Ryan Meinerding was heading Black Panther at that time. And he was like, we're not sure. Will she shave her head? I wonder, if that's a viable thing to show. But I said, but she's the best character for it. And when we pitched it, I don't know if my putting her
Wow.
there had anything to do with
Whoa.
with the casting, but probably not. Probably not. But I know they didn't have her in mind yet. It was the other girl, Nakia's character, Nyong'o.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
but still,
yeah.
I mean, see, you're hitting the subconscious with your art. That's it probably still influenced them just a
Thanks,
little
Bob.
bit.
You know what?
Just
Right now,
somebody-
I'd like
Yeah.
to try. A lot of people were asking on the comments also
Yeah,
about
just,
the process and your design.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what better way to do that? You just posted a video on your channel recently.
yeah,
It's your tribute to Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther, where you do a little sketch.
Yeah.
Would you like to
Yeah.
take us through, I guess, your mind as we're watching the sketch unfold
Well,
here?
that's actually more emotional than I realized when I was doing that, because Black Panther meant a lot to me for some reason.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we're all still reeling from his
Yeah.
untimely passing, and to see such a wonderful tribute like this video that you
It was
created. Yeah, I mean, this is all of us right now. We are Groot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because Black Panther was, I think, also because of this, what it symbolizes. A lot of the black and brown people, hardship,
Sure.
of being oppressed and all that stuff. I think I've experienced some of that, living in the States without even really knowing that was happening to me.
Mm.
Even now, even like recent events, you notice things more now than I did before because of Black Lives Matter movement and all that stuff. And even the little things that you think is not really anything, it seems like it's a subtle oppression, you know.
Have you ever experienced oppression in the States? Or have you
It's
been
not
more lucky
very
than yours?
overt or really clear racism, but maybe it's just like, you know, I'm better than you, you know, that kind of stuff. Or and then or surprise that, oh, or you know, even my black friends, that, you know, my first friends is a black guy, and even he was actually trying to help me, tell me like, okay, when you're stopped by the cops, you do this, and I, or, you know, like put your hands on the wheel, turn off the radio, roll out down the windows. And my, even my uncle telling me like, when you get stopped, make sure your hands are on the wheel, you know, so they don't just shoot you. And it didn't seem like that. But then, you know, coming from the Philippines, coming here, I was used to that already. Like my dad, don't stop at the cops, you know, pull you over. In the Philippines, and drive, you just drive all the way to the house, and then you get out, and then at least we could see you with the cops, and they don't just like, you know, back then it was kind of, I guess, scarier, because, you know, in our neighborhood in the Philippines, people bodies just get found, you know. And like one time there's a 13, 14 and 16-year-old kids that just were murdered, you know. In my neighborhood, that was hard. So anyway, those things, thinking of those things really got placed in here. Plus the music I put in here was all the stars.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the rules on the licensing of the music when we play it on the pods.
Yeah.
But I figured we could just have a little chat over it. And a lot of people are saying this is a great tribute, a great sketch that basically speaks to all of us right now.
Yeah. My brother-in-law was really he touched by it too. He shared. He's another artist in Marvel.
Wow.
Yeah, he's Bulgarian, but we share so much. He's like my brother already, because he's gone through like some bullying in his life and stuff like that, so we know how it feels. Even in art class, sometimes I when I first started out, I'd have instances where someone would say to me that he's better than me. Like, I'm better than you. Am I not better than this guy? Or something. I go, what? Wow, I can't believe people. But again, during that time, my mind, I never really get offended so easily. I just think, oh, then this guy must be good. That's the thing in my head. And we walk to his paper, and we're looking at his work, and I'm like, yeah, he's not good. It's like, but I can't bring myself to make him, to embarrass him for some reason. I just like, oh, good job, and I just walk away. And I've never really been. I mean, I've been in fights before when I was in elementary. Like, the bully of the school, I actually fought him and just beat him up. It's like he's way taller than me. You know, those are the beginnings of my life where I'm not that tall. You know, and maybe that's the oppression and the bullying that's always like stuck to me. That's why I wanna be the hero. I wanna be defending people that, you know, can't defend themselves. And even though I was short, I would defend my friend who's getting bullied, his lunch getting taken away during lunch. And I just said, if you're gonna take his lunch, you gotta go through me. So, because, you know, in my mind, I'm Wolverine. I'm 5'3", I'm his height. You know,
They should just cast you, Anthony.
Yeah.
For me, like that actually resonates quite a bit with me as well. I was bullied quite a bit for different reasons. I think I was bullied here in the Philippines because I went to a school where mostly everyone spoke Tagalog, and I didn't really speak Tagalog, so I was getting, you know, picked on because I was the English speaking Phil-Am kid and stuff, and back in the 90s. So it was
your country, right? That's what they said to me too.
Like,
go back to your country.
I get chased in the halls. I get beat up all the time.
Wow.
But no one wants to be friends with you when you're, you know, kind of ostracized like that. So yeah, it's why actually that period of time in my life was when I had comic books in my life. So that was around 10, 11 years old, and I would read I had every X-Men comic. I had like Silver
Yeah,
Surfer,
X-Men.
I had Avengers, I had Spider-Man, I had all these great comic books, and they were really my my escape from that world. And I would just, I guess, in some subconscious way, having those heroes to read about just kind of made me feel like somewhere
Yes.
I'm getting over this. I'll get over this someday. I guess.
Yeah.
No other way to describe it, but I
Just a
totally
world to escape in.
right.
We relate with that exactly too, like what you said. My mom taught me English first, so English was my first language in the Philippines. Because we were gonna move to the States, she wanted me to be ready. She was worried
Right.
that I wouldn't be able to speak it, so that's what I spoke. And same thing at school, elementary. I would not have much friends except for one other person who also spoke English and Spanish. So then we would, be hanging out more often. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
exactly what you said. You'd be, that's why I had to fight the bully, because he'd always come up to me and go, "You want to fight? You want to fight?" And eventually his hands were down and he's like, "You want to fight?" And I just punched him first. Boom, 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 boom.
It's so funny how the word slang is used as a derogative nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a term that they used back then, when you were still in elementary. But yeah, like people who speak in an American accent, for example, the word that they use is slang. So nagsaslang ka na naman.
Oh
Parang ganon,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
That's right. Yeah.
so
And then they would say stuff like, "Yabang mo slang kasi," or something like that, and I was
Right.
like,
English
"You're
ka ng
pointing at me. How am I
English.
the one being mayabang?" Right? So I was
Yeah.
like, "Huh?" I was so confused.
Yeah,
And
that's right. You didn't understand.
Yeah.
But and then eventually in high school it became Taglish. I could speak Tagalog English, maybe because
Yeah.
I had to adapt so I could date girls and stuff. I don't know. I had to learn some. The girl I liked spoke more Tagalog than English, so I had to.
Let's go back to your work, Anthony. So
Yes.
is there any particular character that you want to get your hands on and design that you haven't had the chance yet?
Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of characters, but in particular, Wolverine and the X-Men characters.
Oh, and they're
that's
coming
why-
to town, aren't they?
Have you tried
they
designing
bought
them
Fox.
already?
I don't know when, but it would be nice. I mean, I was already saying that even before they bought Fox. When I just got
Right.
at Marvel, I was saying, hey, this is what people know about me. I'm a dreamer. Like I have these
Yeah.
big dreams, and people go, why do you dream like that? Even my own coworkers would say that to me, like, X-Men, how will that ever happen? I go, I don't know. It's possible. And now it's here.
Yes, you're living the
That's
dream,
what I
man.
was saying. It's like also another thing was like Ruth Carter, the costume designer for Black Panther. She did
Mhm.
an amazing job putting the stuff together. And would she ever say that I designed the Dora Milaje? Of course you can't say, because she's a costume designer. So but she did mention my names when
Wow.
people would ask her who else worked on this. She would say Anthony Francisco.
Oh, that's really
worked on
sweet.
Dora Milaje. Yeah, and especially if it's
given you the
Filipino
credit, yeah.
journalist interviewing her, she
She makes
actually
a-
said, "I'm the architect for the Dora Milaje." So
Wow.
what a nice thing to
That's
say.
high praise.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hopefully
have to-
it continues.
I have to ask also, in line with the whole Black Panther thing, they announced quite a while back that they were going to have a Black Panther 2, right? They actually announced this
Yeah.
a while back. And so
Yeah.
since and then all of a sudden they made a bunch of announcements, and then you didn't hear much about it anymore. You didn't really know, there wasn't really an update on the releases and stuff like that. Was that, now knowing what we know now, was that because you guys had a heads up on what was going on with Chadwick Boseman, or was it a complete like out of left field?
To
thing?
me, it was complete. I didn't know at all what happened. I was like, wow, that's Did
So
Disney
nobody
know?
at Marvel
I don't know if Disney
had any
knew.
inkling You don't know?
Yeah,
No.
none of us knew.
Wow.
You know, yeah, that was a
Pulled the
surprise.
rug from underneath you. Yeah.
Yeah, is really that's why when the weekend happened, it's almost like I couldn't believe it. My wife was telling me, and my friends actually started calling me saying, "Did you know this? Did you even see it?" Because usually I'm really late with the news.
I wonder how Marvel's going to pay tribute through art, you know, in the next movie. I mean, if there's going to be a way for Marvel to insert a little bit of Chadwick in some of the designs, I wonder how that's going to
Yeah.
pan
Yeah,
out.
that would be really
great.
nice.
That would be a really great tribute, you know.
I've heard so many theories.
Maybe you can do something about that.
Yeah, we have the ear of someone who can actually put that to action. Actually, yeah. So I mean, I've heard a lot of things about people saying, "Oh, just bring back Michael B. Jordan somehow, make him the Black Panther."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wonder how. But no one. I think people
He's
don't want
irreplaceable, though.
him to be replaced or something.
yeah,
I think I saw some news that they were saying just replace one of the Confederate statues with with Black Panther.
That would be awesome.
that's pretty cool. Hey, we also have someone. We also have someone on the show right now who wants to ask you a few questions. He actually just got finished hosting the DC fandom for the Philippines recently.
Awesome.
He got to chit chat or commiserate with some of the DC fellas as well. So let's welcome to Static Interference, Gino Killiamore. Hey Gino, how's it going, man?
Gino!
Hey guys, hello
Hey.
fellow
What's up?
nerds.
What's up? What's up? That's
Hey
Justin.
man, Anthony, very nice to
That's
meet you.
Nice
Huge
to
fan
meet
of your
you.
work, man. I was able to sorry I'm late. Like I just finished with work, so I was able to catch like a little snippet of your interview also. But like man, I actually wanted to I know it's too soon. I know it's too soon, especially with what happened with Chadwick. But you know, I'm super invested in all of the stories, whether it's DC or Marvel. Like you guys, I grew up with comic books. I didn't have the money to buy the comic books. My brother did, so I would sneak them out of his little attaché case, and then I would but
attaché
you guys,
case, yes, that's
yeah,
right.
bro. Like
Yeah,
that was a
that's
thing
right.
before. Like it was cool if you had like an
That's
attaché case. And he was in high school and I was in grade school. Like you know, this little kind of loser, just just going through his stuff and whatever.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and I don't know. I actually wanted to throw this question out to everybody. Just because I like theorizing on stuff and. I know that obviously like I believe that everybody thinks that Chadwick Boseman is irreplaceable as Black Panther.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about it from a company perspective, like obviously Disney and Marvel has invested so much into this character, and they saw that there was like purely from a business standpoint, like the returns were super great. So I don't know. Do you feel like that's something that they're just gonna let go of and like okay? We respect him too much. Let's not chase after that anymore, and let's not replace him whatsoever.
I think what's nice with Black Panther, the movie, they have very strong characters. A lot of them, so you could go with any of the characters, really.
Right, like whether it's Shuri or even M'Baku. Yeah.
M'Baku, yeah.
And obviously I can't say too much about it.
So you do know something. So you do know something. There you go. That's all I really wanted to know.
I don't know much I don't even know what the script is. I don't know.
Or maybe you can draw another design and slap on another actor's face and use that to sway the casters, right? Like what you did with...
Yeah, you can put my face.
I think
I'd be
the
down.
answers could be in the comic books already. Like...
I believe that would be called cultural appropriation, sir.
That would be true. But I mean, they did it first by taking our Igorot designs, right? So
well, you have to remember it's seen through the lens of African tribal culture.
I get
that's another one thing I forgot to say where there's a lot of samurai in my design too. If you notice the way it's worn, it's actually a samurai way of wearing stuff if you look at the costume carefully, and then you put the beading on. So that's and the Nabili tribe was my Dinka tribe. That was the main inspiration. Dinka, Nabili, and a little bit of Igorot, and then the samurai holds everything together. That's how I
Amazing.
see the
Right.
design. Yeah.
Like the you know how like I don't know exactly what it's called, but kind of like little wooden pieces that are I know what
Yeah,
you're
you
talking
know
about
how
though. Like
the sleeve, the armor is a sleeve.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
use
Makes sense
that
now,
same
yeah.
idea as the sleeve, but just put the design elements of Igorot and
Yeah.
Dinka, and then the corset is particularly from the Dinka tribe. Yeah.
It's crazy though, because I mean, prior to you saying that, like, I would have just imagined it as, something a Wakandan would wear. But like now
Yeah.
that you put it that way, it's like you're able to, at least for me,
Imagine.
I'm able to break it down, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's
Break
like
it.
a little
Yeah,
bit of
yeah. I
samurai.
had to break it down because I wanted them to be real warriors. I didn't want them to be like, oh, I made this all up. No, I used a real warrior, the most iconic one in the world, which is a samurai.
Yeah.
And then I wanted them to feel like a samurai, but just
You made it your own.
yeah. So that's still my. I
Incredible.
think I'm proud. I'm proud of that design. In and out, the way it moves. I thought of how the characters will move. Also, so anyway, that's a good segue to some other topic.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask you also, because we talked about this when we were in LA for a bit, and we're really trying to get Filipinos on the global map and try to get our culture out there on a global scale, and you wanted to work on projects that would work with other Filipinos as well, like the other Filipino industry over there. And also some of the Filipinos in our industry over here, like the voice actors. I
wish
you might have some animation projects in the works. And also, I wanted to talk to you about these pictures right here. So why don't you explain to us what we're looking at with these?
Well, these pictures, this one in particular, I painted that in 2004, I think, or a while back, and I was putting it together for a book, my Filipino folklore book, which now I've put together into a like a show Bible. So I'm shopping it around, and there's a lot of interest from different places, and
what are we looking at here? We're looking at an aswang, right?
Yeah, aswang. So this is a half. It's like an aswang with a mix with a manananggal kind of, because it's half of her body's turning into a spider,
Right.
So and same with the subliminal messages that I want to do here is like spiders. People like are scared of spiders, know?
Right. And so this adds on to a layer of fear.
Yeah, even though it just looks like a person bent down, but shape the arms more like a spider. Put like a leg that hasn't transformed yet, so there's a good juxtaposition with something that's grotesque and beautiful at the same time.
Have you done renders of, like, say, like the capre and the tikbalang and the white lady?
I have a capre. It's not. It's like a sketch. I don't know if it's in. I think it's in my DeviantArt page. But this one in particular is my balete tree. Balete
tree.
Oh my god!
Oh, okay.
It's like an ant, but a darker version.
It's like a balete tree had sex with a Call of Cthulhu kind of thing, and like it's just right, like the little tentacles on the face. Oh.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of swamp thing in there too, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Is it man thing?
Or man thing? Yeah.
Yeah, one of those two. I don't know which one was the. Yeah, it has a lot of that mixture.
And baby
in there.
Groot, because it's a tree, so
Yeah.
you've got a little bit of that.
That's Groot's Lolo.
This
Maybe not as cute, but yeah.
This prepped me for baby Groot when I got
Lolo Groot.
yeah.
So this actually came before you came up with baby Groot.
Yes. I was still at Rhythm and Hues, this special effects studio that did Life of Pi.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I worked on that. I was on.
You've also worked
RIPD.
on some video games.
Video games. I worked on video games for a little
Gears
bit
of War?
too. I was on a game called Project Offset that never went out for 3 years. So all my artwork there.
Offset.
Oh man.
Yeah, Project Offset. But before that, I also worked on NCSoft at NCSoft working on Guild Wars.
Wow.
Oh, Guild Wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did.
I played that. I played
You
1
played
and
that
2.
game? remember
What are you
the
Yeah.
responsible
cinematic?
for?
They had beautiful women. Like
Yeah.
and I was in high school and it was the main draw. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, my character's super chicks. Let's go.
Yeah. Do you know what? Do you remember the Avatar, the wizard, the final boss in the end? The
I
one
don't
with
think I ever got
the
to the
long
final
barbs?
boss. But yes, I do remember. Like he would come up in hang on. I just have to dig deep in my library of video games because I've gone through
Yeah.
so many video games, and it's like uh but yeah, I distinctly remember because Guild Wars came out at around the same time that like I think World of Warcraft did, and like
It's
or a
after. It's
little bit
yeah, a
later,
little
yeah.
bit later.
But I remember that Guild Wars had very different art from all the MMORPGs that were out at that time. Because the big
Yeah.
MMORPGs that were out then were, Ragnarok Online, which gets a lot of its stuff from Korea because that's where Gravity Games came from. World of Warcraft was very cartoony, but Guild Wars had
Yeah.
that like nice little mix of it's not real, but they kind of look real. So it's
Yeah.
kind of easier
They're
to
not bulky.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
their proportions weren't crazy or anything like that. And wait, let me try to look for
Yeah.
that. So you
Look for
worked
the
on that.
cinematic, Guild Wars cinematic, because I designed
Alright.
the executioner for that
Wow.
one. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
go YouTube.
Your body of
Yeah.
work is incredible. I'm
Thanks.
looking at your IMDb account right now, and it just goes
Oh,
on
thank
and
you.
on and
But
on.
I have friends that have more work. I tend to stay in one company for a while. So when we were talking about rhythm and hues, right? On there, I worked on Hunger Games. I did some Hunger Games stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, like
Crazy.
some
What
of the
did you design
environments.
there? Any of the
Some of the
costumes?
environments, not the
Oh,
costume,
wow.
more like the city scapes and some of the ideas, and also like on RIPD. I worked on some of the characters for RIPD, and Seventh Son. I worked on Seventh Son. You know the dragon that the witch Mother Malkin turns into. I designed the
Yeah.
final dragon for that.
Damn.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you what was the worst thing you worked on.
The worst thing.
I mean, usually people ask what the best thing was, but
or the
alright,
one thing
sure.
that
The worst
you know
thing,
you,
yes.
you,
kind of know
you
what
were
the best
hesitating to sign with to
Yeah, I
put
was
your
like,
signature on.
all right, fine.
would say-
Let's go.
Well, I would say there is no worst thing. All of them were like just how do you say this? Just amazing to have worked on because
Right.
Yeah.
I come from working at Costco for $6.25 an hour to getting paid 12 and then 30 an hour, and then eventually it goes up and up, and every time it's a new challenge, and it's just always so much fun for me. So there really is no worst one, but I would actually rephrase it as the most challenging, possibly. Would
All right.
the most challenging, I guess, would be when I worked on Son of the Mask.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The mask. Okay.
Yeah, so we were working on the
It's Jim
mask.
Carrey, right?
Yeah,
It was
Jim Carrey.
That's
another
was that
comedian.
Who was it again?
Jamie
I-
Kennedy.
Jamie
Was it?
Kennedy. Yeah.
Jamie
there you go.
Kennedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie
That's
Kennedy.
the most
right.
challenging because the director was an animator, and I think he wanted certain things like colors on the mask that usually the colors would change depending on the light it's on. It wouldn't remain that kind of green, so that was the challenge. 'Cause
Super tense.
But that was a very Miss Universe answer.
Yeah,
from-
no, it's very diplomatic.
politically
It was
correct.
Yeah.
very neutral.
I mean, usually I just be like, no, I was ashamed of this one, or I didn't like working on this
Ashamed
one.
of this one.
But I like how you
Ashamed.
slipped in the most challenging.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
Son of the Mask.
I guess
That's
it's working
incredible,
at
though.
Disney for so long.
Yeah.
For 8 years.
But I
one-
mean, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to think of something that I'm ashamed of. Designs I'm ashamed of. There are some that I don't want to show that I am ashamed of.
Or do you have anything that, like, okay, let's just say that you're not technically ashamed of it, but like when you saw it come out, you were like, oh, maybe I could have worked on that a little bit more, or maybe I could have changed this and that.
Almost everything I worked on, I feel like.
Really?
Because
better
are you a
than that I could
perfectionist?
do, but then all us artists, we get insecure at times, and
Yeah.
during the time I'm working on it, like when Doctor Strange, I'm working on my Mordo design. the time I'm working, I want it to be so as good as I could do it, and I'm just like, this sucks, or this is not good enough. And then 2 years later, I look back and go, wow, this is actually good. I can design that good,
yeah.
like now, and then now at the present time, I'm insecure with my own design from before. So
Yeah, it's like
I kind of know what that feels like as an artist. Yeah.
Because like, right, Robbie, when you were younger, you were like, I'm a little overweight. I don't, I feel like I don't look that great. But then, you fast forward 10 years later, and then you look back.
You're like, I was better off then.
You're like, oh my God, I look fantastic.
So bad.
You're 50 pounds heavier, and you're like, I was damn sexy.
I know.
Exactly.
I could take off my shirt at the beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was so insecure about.
That's why my wife married me. So I couldn't understand it at the time.
And how's your family? Are they? Are your kids a little bit more grown up now, and are they appreciating your work?
Yeah, they're growing up so fast. As you know, my son, my daughter, they inspire me when I design like the cute characters for Marvel Studios, and particularly my son for Baby Groot. And now he's 13 already, and the imagery that I would put when because I kind of designed Baby Groot as he's growing up, adolescent Groot, teen Groot, right? And there's some parts of it where he looks just like him, like playing his game.
Yes, we saw that.
And the scene where he was like,
like that.
Put that thing away, Groot.
Is he drawing as well? Have you passed down your talents to him?
He likes to draw, but sometimes, he's really into his gymnastics. So he's a gymnast, and my daughter, same thing. And I always brag about how when they were both like younger, like at 9, and my daughter I think was 7 or 8 and 10, they're jiu-jitsu world champions.
Whoa.
My son's Pan Am world champion when he joined it for the first time.
That's awesome.
In 2018.
What do you guys? What do you guys eat? Like, I want to find out. Like, what kind of nourishment do you have to have such like talented genes in your gene pool?
they homeschool, so they have time to do extracurricular, like they do ballet, and when they were younger, and the studio was really close to our house, we just walked to it. My wife is stay-at-home mom, and they do homeschool. But I love jiu-jitsu, ever since I learned it in 92 or something, 93.
Yeah.
It actually helped
before
me,
it was mainstream, because
before
now
it was-
everybody is
before it
like,
was cool.
before everybody knew about it. Like,
So big guys couldn't understand how I'm taking them down because they didn't know jiu-jitsu, and it's like, oh, this works. So I kept on using it.
You seem like such a mild-mannered, just you wouldn't expect a guy like you could just take people down with like just a little sweep and a throw.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you seem like this very calm, serene, mellow kind of guy. Who
I'm glad.
who just
Thank you. I think it's
who just likes to draw in a little corner.
I think I'm
very
older
down
now.
to earth. A lot of people were mentioning how down to earth that was the impression that you gave from the onset, and
Oh,
yeah,
I'm glad.
and how humble,
When I was younger,
how
though,
humble you
maybe
are.
it's different. When I was
how
like,
was it? Tell us
when I
about
was
the younger
16,
years then.
16, I think I'm still calm, and I don't but I'm not looking for a fight, but if you cross me, then we're gonna
It's
fight.
over.
It's a rumble.
And I already liked wrestling back then, WWE and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the bullies, but mostly if they're bullies, that's when I keep quiet until they get close enough for me to reach them with the right cross.
Yeah.
And then
You
smile
know
the
how
whole
I used-
time, and then just smack them. Just kidding. But
Anthony,
but
you know
now
how
I'm
I
not.
used to fight? You know how I used to
Yeah.
fight back in grade school? I used to go on draw-offs with like
That's awesome.
I would,
Oh, you a
like, there was
badass,
this-
bro.
I was. I mean, okay, and I always lost
I love that.
because I wasn't as good as the bully, as the he just happened to be an artist as well, and we did not engage in physical fights. We just started drawing. you know, and so somebody would, you know, we'd have a referee, and the referee would go, draw a tree, and then we'd both like, you know, that's exactly that's
What
how
kind
we
of
fought.
school is this? I never got into fights like that.
Those were different
School
times.
for the
Oh
gifted.
man, you're reminding me.
Yeah.
This is where they got the inspiration for Guardians of the Galaxy's dance off. You know, this is it. That right there.
That's
That's
awesome.
crazy, man. I don't know. Like
Draw
when I
off,
was
yeah.
a little bit younger, the only way I could take down a person bigger than I was with my sharp words. That's it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
sharp word while running away. You know,
Yeah,
Just sort of
like a
like,
knife.
Running.
Yeah.
No, that's
And
a
their
skill
egos.
you have to have when you're.
you'll
in
always be
elementary.
ugly.
Never get me.
Yeah.
My vocabulary will take you down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My bare rhetoric will tear you down.
You just reminded me. That was one way to get away for sure, because I was like shorter and faster, and no one can catch me. Like, you know, once you play what's that game where you tag and you run back and forth from your base? I go on base.
I go on base.
Oh,
I go on base. Yeah.
That was the game. And Patintero, those are the two.
Oh
Best
man,
game.
I wish we could talk to you forever, man. I mean, there's
Yeah.
I know,
you know,
it
and maybe
seems
get
very
you drunk
effortless.
and then have you start revealing things you're not supposed to.
Well, you guys should join me in my live stream. I'm gonna do a live stream
Yeah.
in my YouTube channel. I scheduled. Yeah. So if you
why
join me
don't you
there, I
invite
can talk to you
everybody
guys
right now?
Yeah,
Why don't we try to Dawn? Maybe you can put that up on.
Yeah,
the
sure.
screen.
And also, you were
anybody that
also,
wants to go on, you know,
your website or your email. I think
DeviantArt.
we're asking about it earlier.
yeah, it's ubermonster.anthony@gmail.com, or you could visit my Instagram and you know, give a message to me there. I usually look at all my messages. Even on Facebook, if you write a comment, it's easier to actually comment than a direct message. We see that faster because, you know, I'm not that popular. People, I'd be able to see your comment. So,
Dude, I mean, seriously, I mean, you're, I have to say, you're doing for Filipino representation in Hollywood productions what Chadwick Boseman did for Black people. I mean, we
thank
certainly.
you.
True.
Well,
Yeah.
You're paving the way
absolutely.
for so many artists over here, and showing them that it can be done. It's possible, and you're living the dream, man. And it's
Anthony, can you also put that on the chat so I can share it with everybody? I'm not sure how to spell it.
Can I type on this?
Yeah, you can just type on the chat, and then I'll try to share that with everybody.
What's the chat?
Yeah.
Just to add on to what Robbie was saying, it's true though. Like you do serve as an inspiration for a lot of, and we do have a lot of amazing artists from the Philippines. Like I've heard of so many AAA games that, you know, were actually drawn by Filipino artists and in movies, and even for me, like I'm a 35-year-old guy who can only draw stick figures, but now I get the feeling that I'm able to do it as well, and I have to thank you for that. Thank you for the belief. I doubt it'll get me anywhere, but thank you.
I could teach anybody to draw. Anybody can draw, I believe.
Do you honestly believe that anybody
I
can
believe-
draw?
Yes, because in my YouTube channel, when you see one of my scheduled things, I show a picture of my wife's drawings. I taught her how to draw. You should see how it looks like. It's from this kind of
abstract art.
No, it's like she's trying to draw a bird, and then her bird on the end, the way it looks like now, she could really render well now, and that was just in 6 months.
It is an acquired talent. Yes.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
there's
I can attest to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody, I think what it really needs is a teacher that is more nurturing, you know, and not so aggressive. I think, and to work with the student's strengths, not to mold him into something he wants the person to be molded to. They have to do what they want to do. Just
Have you done
be better.
have you done tutorials on your YouTube channel, like what Proco does on his channel? If you're familiar with
No,
Proco,
nothing like that. Yeah, just so busy. I don't have time to do it. But
Yeah,
for
I
this
can imagine.
Lightbox event coming up, that's the event that I have. I'm part of, and I have some tutorials. Not really tutorials, more like a live portfolio review. So
Right.
people could send me their portfolios, and I could look at it, and then maybe give some suggestions, and then I do have, and then I scheduled 3 more events. That's why if you guys want to come, you could talk to me there. We could talk more about stuff. And I know you're interviewing me. That's why the questions are to me. But I would love to hear more about you guys too.
I would love to show you my art.
Yeah.
My life is nowhere near as interesting as yours, man.
No, it's not. Don's life. You guys.
He's always right here, actually.
Yeah, no.
I'd like you to analyze.
Yeah, I know you.
How is this? Is this pretty good?
I believe that's a unicorn.
I'm not sure what this is exactly. It's Ellie and the robots. I think
that's cool.
Birds.
Ellie and the robots. That sounds like a movie already.
And just so you know, Gino's being modest, by the way, about his life being like boring.
It's true, bro. I've been at home for like the past 160 days. I have a newborn child. I barely get sleep. That's it.
That's an adventure in itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I can only hope that because I honestly can't draw for Ish. Like, and my wife's actually pretty good. Like, I mean, she does cartoons and stuff.
Maybe
and
I
I've
can show you some of them right now.
I'll give you some exercises, Gino. You know what?
It's not
Maybe
too late.
I
It's
should
not
have
too
a
late.
project. Maybe Gino. I'll show before and after.
I'd be super willing, man.
Yeah,
I'd be super willing.
Do you have a YouTube channel too, Gino?
This might not be good for.
Wait, did you seriously?
But yeah, it's.
Yeah, that's Robbie's work. Yeah, Robbie can draw.
Yeah, that's amazing.
For real?
Wow.
The stuff that I do.
Damn.
What? That is.
But I never pursued it, so
It looks like you did. It looks like you did. You're good.
I know.
If you say you didn't pursue, maybe you're just saying you don't practice it now. But
these
you did it.
These drawings are 20 years old. I haven't.
20.
I
So
haven't
you were
really
that good. You're better than me 20 years ago.
I haven't drawn since. I really like.
Wow,
Yeah, that's why like
you
hearing
should do
your story, man,
tutorials. You can make money doing tutorials. I mean, you've got some people in YouTube that are not as good as you, and they have 200,000 followers in YouTube and make some money through YouTube. It's like
seriously though, your story is so touching to me. I mean, it means a lot. The reason why I didn't want to pursue art, well, apart from the idea, this concept that I had that there wasn't any money in it, I always didn't feel like I was good enough. I always felt like there was always somebody better than me, and I had to battle that for quite a long time. I mean, I don't draw quickly. It takes me forever to render stuff, and and I always thought that was and just practicing every day. It was, I don't know. I couldn't understand how people just could take a pen and draw all day. I wasn't like that. I would tire out after. I would get burned out after a certain point.
Yeah.
And did you ever go through that?
Well, I think that is the natural kind of feeling of I guess everybody feels that way with anything you do. Really, you're always thinking someone is better out there than you. But then if you stop comparing yourself to the person better than you, then just accept there are people better than you out there. But who cares? I'm gonna do what I love. It doesn't matter, So, but then thinking that you're very critical with your art, then that means you're a good artist because you always get better. If the moment you decide you're a master, you'll never get better. So
agreed.
Even us at
that's
work,
when you're in trouble. Yeah,
that's when you're in trouble, when you believe you're like
you get
the
complacent.
Best. Yeah. So even the guys at my work, all of us are insecure at a little bit with our stuff.
Does it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, like it's such a foreign world to me. Like art and everything. Is it?
Yeah.
Would you consider it as a really competitive kind of environment? Like maybe at work, like because you know how like a traditional corporate job, there's always like kind of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try to slightly sabotage this person or whatever just so I can get ahead.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
But-
saying that you sabotage other people's work or anything like that, but like, is there a kind of like, oh crap, he drew something better than I did, so I need to come up with something
Well,
better? Like,
I think people recognize that in our environment, but everyone has, how do you say this? Everyone's confident, but it's like no egos. But plus, we've known each other for a long time, even before Marvel already.
yeah,
And I think that it's a healthy, competitive environment. More like praising each other of how awesome the design is, and then using that design to inspire you to do better
yeah,
instead of inspire you to feel like you're worthless. It's
Yeah.
like
Right.
It's a
although that
competition
does,
amongst yourselves, but you're driving yourselves further
yeah.
than you would
Although
by
that does
yourselves.
happen with some of us still, that you feel like, oh, he's so good, how can I, until you reach a breaking point where you're like, I I'm here, and
Yeah.
that's what should matter.
Yeah.
I was hired for a reason, and
Hmm.
and each of us say stuff like that to each other, and each of us know how to help each other by saying the right things and not kind of like digging into that wound. It's more like, I know I have that wound and I know
Yeah.
how you're feeling, and then saying
There's
to
no
you
crab
that,
mentality
Yeah.
in your
yeah,
world.
saying to you
Yeah.
that, I felt that before. I didn't have any approvals a whole year or something,
Wow.
or in this one show, no approvals, and then you'd have let's say my friend Andy would say to me, yeah, but yours led the charge. Maybe yours is not the final approved version, but
Yeah.
that's the direction we went because of you.
Right.
Like he would say that, like he knows to
Right.
say that.
Wow.
Like
You
you were
know?
one of the soldiers that died in battle, but you ended up winning the war, kind of.
Yes, something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you
You were
helped
able
with
to
the
save
war, so
everybody
don't feel-
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was working at one of my very first jobs in designing was for ADI, Amalgamate Dynamics Incorporated. So I worked on Spider-Man, the one with Tobey Maguire. I worked on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
man.
heard
Who
of it. I've
cares?
heard of
What
the
else?
IP.
Yeah, the
Who's
old one,
that?
the old, really old one.
Who is that?
And
I don't remember.
yeah, I don't remember anymore.
I don't
no,
know,
they-
but I feel like with great power comes great responsibility. I
yeah,
don't
it's
know.
over there. Yeah. So the owner of the studio, Alec Gillis, I think he gave one of the best inspiring and just something that stuck to me for a long time. For some reason, I'm forgetting now what it was just in my head.
We'll put it in the comments later.
It was such
I
a
believe
good
that I'm
piece of
forgetting it right now.
information, and like,
Yeah,
there you
it
go.
it was really good information. Oh, I remember now. Okay, he said this to me. He said, even though you designed something that they said no to, it's a direction we know not to go. So you actually still helped.
Mm.
Right. So you're helping with the
So-
process of elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to design it. You have to have these options, like because I like doing a lot of options. Maybe
Yeah.
in one design I have 10 different designs, and 3 of those directions will be 3 of this
Right.
direction, 3 this direction,
Yeah.
3 that direction. Just so it's so different from each
You
other.
cast a wide
Can I-
net.
Yeah,
Can
that's
I
what I
ask you
love to
something
do.
about that first Spider-Man? Actually, since
Yeah.
you were like an insider on the first Spider-Man, what were
Yeah.
the thoughts going on about the Green Goblin outfit in that first
Oh
Spider-Man?
man. ADI, they actually, I think it's on their YouTube channel. We had a version of the masked goblin
Yeah.
Mm.
where the eyes were moving, and it was amazing. We were like, this is it. We were all like happy about it.
Yeah.
I guess
And
I
then
can talk
they
about
went
it
with
now.
that
It's
And
been
then
a
what
while.
happened?
And it became that mask, the technology, the head has to match the technology of the body. But the comic book, if you kept with you could have kept the body technology like the Matrix and the head as the Green Goblin
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
mask, right? It could have still kept that, and I think it would have been more iconic that way.
Mhm.
Although this was still kind of iconic. Yeah, so they decided to go that route to feel more cohesive, I guess, with
Yeah.
design,
body
the whole
design,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Technology.
But
look.
I think it's more jarring with that head, and
Yeah.
it'll be more memorable because it almost doesn't fit with it. But
Right. It felt
But I
like
think-
it felt like a
overall, it
puppet
will.
show every time Willem Dafoe was talking in the mask, right? It was just kind of like
So,
But I think we'd have to kind of remember that, you know, at this point they were still kind of tiptoeing around the idea of superhero films, because prior to that, like, you only
Yeah.
had what, Blade, that actually
Yeah,
like,
Blade
you know,
was-
made a dent
But-
on and proved that superhero movies could actually work. So everybody was like, okay, we maybe we want to take a risk with this, but maybe
Well-
let's play it safe.
I would probably say it's a testament to Kevin Feige, you know, because he is a true fan. He's
Yeah.
not trying to like change it, like you know, that one with Green Goblin, where I don't know who made the decisions on that, but they wanted it cooler, you know,
Yeah.
Si Kuya Kev,
because they
diba?
don't
Yeah.
think the comic book
Ah.
is cool enough.
Kevin I, yeah.
Yeah.
Si Kuya Kev.
Fikester,
Ti-
the Fikester.
Tito
you know,
Kev.
I heard also for X-Men Apocalypse that there was an actual legitimate comic book accurate design of Apocalypse that they had that they could have used, but they just decided to do what
Whatever
they did.
Yeah.
Whatever
No,
they did. I don't
Isaac,
even know.
yeah.
I haven't seen. Well, I seen Days of Future Past a little bit in the beginning, but it's hard for me to watch the X-Men stuff because I'm that was my first comic book, X-Men,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it to be exactly like how I
Yeah.
remember the comic book.
Big
If
fan
I
of
was
Jim
to do
Lee's
it,
X-Men. That was my time. Yeah, the Jim Lee X-Men.
Jim Lee
period.
X-Men, Chris Claremont X-Men, when
Chris Claremont
you know,
X-Men. Yeah.
John Romita Jr. was still drawing it. That was
Mhm.
where I started. You know, Barry Windsor Smith with that one X-Men with the cover of Wolverine and that red cover. You remember that, where he's
Mhm.
has one arm up and he fought what's her name? That girl, Stalker, Dark. Yeah, her.
Yeah.
I
The one with
forget,
the long fingernails,
Yeah.
killer fingernails.
Deathstrike?
Teddy.
That's
Manicure
Deathstrike,
girl.
yeah,
Deathstrike.
yeah.
There you go.
That-
Yeah,
Lady
that
Deathstrike,
comic.
yeah.
When I saw
Manicure
that,
girl.
so maybe I should start
This is
directing
why.
now. Maybe I could direct the next X-Men film.
We have a
Oh,
question
fun.
for you, Anthony, from
Okay,
from our
question.
audience. How many Hollywood actors / Marvel stars have you met or seen in person? Do you actually keep count? I know I would.
Very few actually, because I'm in the office so much. We don't really get to go out of the office, and when they visit, they don't come into our office as often. And if they do, it's usually at the VizDev head of, you know, and I don't get to actually go to the after parties. You know, it's after the premiere. After the
Yeah.
well, I always bring my kids with me, and I actually can't go, even though I could go. But I wish one of these days maybe I would. But I did get to go to the pre-Oscar party, so that's where I met,
cool.
you know,
Ooh, that's
Vin
cool.
Diesel. That was,
Nice.
I think, the best part, because I saw him from across the room. I go, oh, it's Vin Diesel. Come on, let's go meet him. And my coworker's like, why would we go there? Why would you? Why? You know, so it's that same kind of like
Vin
What kind of
Diesel.
small talk?
It's Vin Diesel.
What kind of small talk would you like? Hey, I
Yeah, who are
designed
we?
your shirt.
I know.
Is that something you'd
It's
say?
It's more like, okay, we're in this group, we're here, the actors are there, and
Mm.
I don't know why with me, I don't see it that way. I see like we're all like collaborating, you know, not staying
Yeah.
in your lane. I mean, I've been so used to the this is your level, stay in your lane. Don't you know? It's almost like that sense of not oppression, but like
It's cliquish.
segregating- Yeah, segregating
Yeah.
people and stuff like that. I mean, I felt that in the Philippines before already, or even here sometimes. But I think there's a mindset that goes to it where you meet the right people and you have this surprise, like how do you say, it's like oh, it's okay to do this. Like I'm fortunate I've met other people that were not leaving me in the wayside, you know, when I was working in
Right.
the industry already.
Yeah.
So when I saw him was walking by in this crowded room, and
Yeah.
I guess he looked at me, and I just looked at him, and I just put in my arm, and I go, Vin, hey Vin, and he goes,
Yeah.
hey, and then he started walking to me, and then oh hey.
He actually seems like a really nice person.
Yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
amazing. Vin is such a nice guy, and I started talking to him, and and we were talking hella. I introduced him to my coworkers as if I
Yeah.
knew him like he was my best friend.
Hey guys, look, it's Vin.
Yeah,
It's Vin.
He's a
Guys,
tall
it's
guy.
Dominic
Si parang
Ferraro.
Vin. Oh, the Vinster.
Family.
Yeah, he's awesome.
We go
Yeah,
way
then I
back,
told
about
him,
5 minutes.
Yeah, and I remember like one of the stories that I read up on him before he got cast as before maybe a little after Fast and the Furious, but like I remember the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, I
love
worked
that
on that
movie.
too, Crocs.
Oh, you worked on it.
Yeah.
Ah, what the
Oh,
hell,
man,
man?
the art was so good there.
Yeah.
The designs
just
were
worked on,
amazing.
Commander,
Yeah.
the Commander Vaco character, like his hairstyle.
man.
That was my design.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was it that Carl Urban? Vaco
Carl
was Urban, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that was Carl Urban.
Urban.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nice.
And just going back to the Vin Diesel thing, I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like one of the things that he did, I'm not sure how real this is. You might actually know. Is that when they were coming up with Riddick, which was a sequel to Pitch Black. Remember, like
Yeah,
it started
yeah,
off
yeah.
as like a horror film, and then he wanted Judi Dench to be in the movie, and Judi Dench said no, and he like I think at this time Judi Dench was doing a play off Broadway or something like that, and then what he did was he completely filled her dressing room with flowers, and Judi Dench was so touched, and she was like, okay, you know what, I'll do your film. And she ended up
that's
being
so
there.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nice.
Nice
Yeah,
bit of trivia.
he's even meeting him when I was talking to him and said, "Hey, I'm sure you don't know this, but I designed Baby Groot, your character."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" Like, oh, and he's
All right,
just
Dick.
all
That's right.
just he's such a nice guy, and I'm glad I got to meet him. And I even offered, I would love to do a sketch for you. And he says, "Of course, I'd be." And he's like, "Of course, I'd be honored to receive your sketch. And here, give me your number." And then he gave it to his assistant, and I
Yeah.
gave my number, and now we're connected.
Wow.
Damn, you got him
Yes,
on
I
speed
did-
dial.
no, not connected to him directly, but
Yeah.
and then I did the painting for him and some sketches and stuff. But then COVID happened, so I don't know when I'll ever get to give this painting.
Yeah.
But I
Man,
should just
play-
probably.
Playing 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon will be so easy with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the most memorable one, and I met Denai Guerrera, and I met Michael B. Jordan, and
Wow.
I did see Chadwick. I think he was walking around. I didn't get to actually meet him, but
Yeah.
Denai, I had to tell her I was a little under the weather, so she's like, "Oh no," she's about to hug me,
Yeah.
and I wish
Like,
I wasn't
oh.
under the weather. Oh,
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Like you
man.
gotta let that one slide. You just
yeah.
Back then it would have been okay, but now maybe
Yeah.
not.
maybe not so much now. Not so much now.
So we talked about the American celebrities. Are there any Filipino celebrities that you would want to work with or that you
That I
look
want to
up?
work with. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe there's a man, Filipino stuff. I know their faces, but I don't know the names quite.
Right.
Describe the
well.
face. Describe the face.
But
I
for
think
some
we
reason,
Piolo
We'll-
Pascual.
Robbie
As
will sketch it.
Aswang.
Robbie will sketch it.
I think we'll get it right on the money.
yeah, I think this one popular guy that also draws. I think his name is oh my god,
Tom Rodriguez.
It's okay. It's early in the morning. You
It's
haven't had
early in
your
the morning.
coffee yet.
He draws as
Totally
well.
understand.
Indigo.
Inigo.
His name Indigo Pascual or something. like
Inigo
that?
Pascual, the son of
Inigo.
Piolo Pascual.
Indigo is like a color in my head. Indigo.
Inigo
That's the artist
Pascual.
in you.
Yeah, he draws.
Talking. Yeah.
Oh, he
I was like, oh.
does.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh.
wow, that's awesome. I actually sent him a message on his Instagram, but he has millions of followers, so it's not. So,
So
I was
cool.
thinking, because how I'm working on this animated thing of mine, and I was thinking,
Yeah.
oh, it'd be cool. I wonder if he could do like a voice of one of the characters or something like that.
Yeah.
You got some
that
voice
one-
actors right here, Anthony.
we do.
Shameless
You're a
plug.
voice actor.
No,
Okay,
hey
yeah.
Anthony, wait, hold on, Anthony, are you aware of?
That's why your voice is so nice.
Listen to
I
the
feel-
crispness of their voices. You know?
Yeah.
Anthony,
You could-
are you aware of a show that's being developed for Netflix called Trece?
Trece? Yes, of course, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Maybe not on screen here, but I have a story, not about Trece, but I I don't know. I wonder if I could talk about this here. Maybe not. Maybe
Nobody's
later.
watching. It's okay. Don't worry
Nobody's
about
watching.
Fine.
We're down to 9 people. I think it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe I wonder if I could. I don't know if I could talk about.
You can speak in riddles, and we'll try to follow.
Speak in riddles. Okay, I have been
it. Just
able
maybe
to,
draw what you
know.
want to say.
Yeah, like a
Draw what
Pictionary
I want
thing.
to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Trece actually is being directed by a friend of mine. He's
Wow.
also Filipino. You should have him on your show.
Maybe
Jay
I will.
Oliva. Yeah, he directed Batman Year One, Batman Year Two, the animated series. I
Yeah.
think I'm not sure if
Wow.
it's Wonder Woman or something, or but yeah, he's a cool. I knew him for like 20 years when he did some stuff for us at Guild Wars for Guild Wars. He
Damn.
storyboarded
So
for us,
cool,
yeah.
man.
And he,
Hey,
yeah. So now we're both actually partnered up. He's gonna be directing some of my. He's gonna be directing my show. Yeah, yeah. So I could say
Oh,
that.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so
nice.
me-
You should also we should
Yeah.
probably get you in touch also with Sumali Montano, who's one of the
Somali.
members. Sumali, yeah. One of the
Sumali,
members
yeah.
of Oak Alliance, who's she did some roles in Destiny. She did some roles in Ghost
Wow,
of
that's awesome.
So she's got quite the resume as well. So yeah, and also
Yeah.
Filipino. So that's pretty cool. We like
Yeah,
seeing-
I'm actually also looking for Filipino writers to help me with each episode because I already I have a writer that I work with here. He's amazing too. And we have like a 5-season show.
Like story
It's-
arc that's done
Yeah,
already.
it's really
Oh.
amazing.
oh man.
And my season 2 ending is amazing. So he came up with my season 2 ending, but I wrote most of it. That's the thing. I don't know if I could talk about it because it's at a
Are
place
you under any
right
NDA
now
right
that's
now?
being
Monitored.
if I have my own show, I'll be like a showrunner, and
Right.
I can't.
No, yeah, we totally
That's fine,
respect that, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe save it for another occasion. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're just really glad we were able to hear your story and how you started and you know all the way up to this point and everything in between. It's so inspiring, man.
Thank
It's
you.
really
Yeah, I'm writing
incredible.
now. I'm writing like scripts now. You know, I have a one thing I could probably talk about is I have a because this is not in any place, but it might be. Maybe I shouldn't. But it's called C6. It's like a you know. Let me do the pitch real quick.
Okay.
Because it's based on my life a little bit. So, a young artist from Los Angeles, trying to escape gang life, joins the Navy, and he joins the Navy, finds out he's afraid of open water, therefore has to get out as you know,
quickly as he
with
can,
any
yeah.
means necessary.
Mhm.
So it's like a coming of age type of story of learning what your true passions are, and you know, and going
So
for the
cool.
dream. So if I win an Emmy one day, this story could really stretch out to the from here to here. That'd be amazing. But you know,
You're still hoping that you do, man. You're still hoping
Yeah.
that you
No,
do.
Anthony, we could be on the cusp of something great, like legendary even, and we're so happy to have been able to share this time with you and see you go through all these motions and see how your life develops, and we really hope that you know this takes off and brings you to even greater heights in the future.
Yeah, actually,
yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Bob Gibelli puts it perfectly. He was just saying, because he was the same guy who asked earlier, like, who are the Hollywood actors and movie stars you worked with, and he was just saying, yeah. The better question is, what movies did you not work on? You know? I think
What
it'll be an
movie-
easier process of
Yeah.
elimination.
True.
I guess in the Marvel world, well, I started with Guardians of the Galaxy, so every movie before that I haven't worked on those. So, yeah. So Thor or
Yeah.
Captain
Yeah.
Captain America.
We had some other questions here. Like, do you teach your process from ZBrush to Keyshot, Photoshop, that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, someone's asking that. I actually draw and paint more now, I mean, I always drew in paint before, but ZBrush became part of my pipeline because it's really addicting to use ZBrush. I love using the program. I did use ZBrush when I designed the ants for Ant-Man. Like all those shots.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony, exactly.
Anthony.
I like to tell the story that they named it after me, but really it's not.
Take it, man. Take it. Nobody will know. You know.
Just for everybody's information, ZBrush is like it's a way to sculpt, you know, but in 3D
It's
space.
a 3D program.
Yeah.
It's also what French
sculpting
people call a
for
brush. ZBrush.
Yeah.
But if you're in Canada, it's ZBrush.
I wish I had a
ZBrush,
soundboard
yes,
right
they
now.
call it
Oh yeah. I know we missed a few, but I'm super happy that people tuned in and listened to your story.
Oh, do I
man.
teach it? He's asking. Maybe I could show that process in my YouTube channel. I'm trying to wake up my YouTube channel, so you'd probably be seeing more videos, tutorials, and stuff like that. Because yeah, I want to try to get more of a following there. So at least maybe someday when I decide I want to just write, you know, I could be putting out my stories in my YouTube channel, which I think some of it I'll start doing already. Because the next phase is to be a writer, a creator. You know, I want to be like the guys that made Avatar. You know, I want to be something there.
The next Kevin Feige.
The next Kevin Feige. Maybe go to the Philippines, take all the superheroes, make it into one world.
Yeah,
that would be awesome, man. Can you please make that happen?
Oh my
That'd
god,
be amazing. You know, just get some support from the government or whoever I need to get support from.
Yeah.
Put together a team, and then I'll just lead it and just get some directors, and I'll produce. You know, maybe you guys, whoever has producing
We can call it the PCU, the
experience.
Philippine
Yeah.
Cinematic University.
The
I mean,
PH
Cinematic
PH
Universe.
Cinematic Universe.
That's right,
Yeah.
Philippine Cinematic Universe, and then there'll be a university, so I could teach the upcoming kids to do art for the company, and then we could do that.
That's right. Yeah.
Noel is asking again if he just subscribed to your channel, by the way. He's asking if you look at
thank you
demo
so much.
reels.
Do you look at demo reels? Yeah, actually, you could send it to me. I could look at it during you know, my Lightbox event.
Great.
Because I'm gonna be looking at, you know, as many people's portfolios as I can.
And where can they send it? I'll try to catch it this time.
It's Uber Monster,
Uber Monster.
UBER Monster MONSTER. I can't spell. Dot
Don't worry, Dawn doesn't know how to spell either.
dot Anthony at gmail.com.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's on
I
my
did it.
Facebook too. My Facebook
I
fan
did it.
page.
There it is.
Yeah.
ubermonster.anthony@gmail.com.
Sweet.
Send your reels to him
I
there.
should probably. You know, I could talk to you guys forever. You know, this is this.
Yeah,
I know.
We should do one of these in my YouTube channel, and then I'll interview you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Are we,
Yeah.
that's interesting. It's like
I-
the tail wagging the dog, but okay, sure.
Yeah, we can just talk about stuff. Yeah, that could be fun. I don't know. I think Facebook. Facebook. YouTube could do that. I could just have my Streamlabs, I guess, and then have four stream. I don't know how you guys are doing this through here.
There's a way to actually post it on like multiple like kind of avenues, right? Like I'm not sure what it's called, but yeah.
I could stream it through. Yeah, because that's what I'm doing now. Just through.
Right now, we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Kumu right now, actually.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, I need to share this Facebook. Although, I just realized, yeah.
I mean, honestly, man, like with your talent, your credentials, if you just, I mean, YouTube is a strange place. It really is. Like you'll see a 24-hour video of just a black screen that has like 3 million views or maybe even more. I'm not even kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll see like,
Wow.
3-4 hour loops of they're taking the hobbits to Isengard, which will also have like 25 million views or something like that. One
Maybe
idea you could, yeah,
at first I thought what I was gonna do, I was gonna just work on my art and just have.
yeah, time lapse
But
it.
you guys can't see what I'm working on. I'm just working on Marvel stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Just working
Can
on
we
Marvel
can we even
stuff.
take a peek at anything, even like a small like corner of
So
any of
much
the
he
stuff that
knows,
you're-
and we don't.
This,
You guys
what
can
what
take a
Robbie
look
said
at this.
just now.
Oh wait, oh, wait,
This is
what-
for my
wait.
show. This is for
yeah,
my show.
is that the tikbalang?
Yes, this is my
Oh,
Tikbalang
damn.
Oh,
image.
oh, that's so cool.
This is the king
That
of
is so
the
cool.
Tikbalangs.
And what is this?
I did
oh,
that
it's
long
a
time ago.
dinosaur head.
Is that a
Sorry,
sculpture
was part
right
of the
below
art.
it? Yeah.
It's a horse's. It's a horse's head.
Amazing.
Yeah, like it has the ram horns.
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
It's got 4 horns. That's it's so cool.
Does it have a
Then the-
piercing? Is that a piercing on its ear?
Oh, it
Is
just
that
says
like a
earrings. Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, it is.
And it's
Then
it's
this
like
is-
glassy eyed. Oh, and this
Hey,
is
hello there.
Hello, nymph.
Yeah, that's his daughter. Because supposedly they're shapeshifters, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
his true form, but he doesn't walk around like that because when I was planning my movie, my short film
Yeah.
before Marvel called me,
Yeah.
I saved 20,000 to make my short film in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I had to put that on hold and I didn't do it. And then I forgot about it. And then only recently it kind of resurfaced again. And I'm like, I want to be direct again or produce or something. So that was one of my paintings for myself to remember my story. Yeah. So, I was like,
if you
and the
ever
reason-
decide to do that, just let me know. I've tipped my hat into the producing arena before.
yes,
so.
that's right. I need to like get together and I don't know, after COVID, I guess is when we can actually do it.
After COVID.
But I have a friend who's willing to do the animations for it already, and that's why they had to shapeshift to regular people because we don't have the money, the budget for him being like, so
yeah.
Full
the
beast
scope
mode
is-
was
is
expensive. Yeah.
manageable. Yeah, but the story is really like more of a personal kind of story, and
Right.
maybe 15-minute thing. But that led to my series that I've pitched to these big places.
Filipino folklore is just it's so rich,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it
it's so
can
rich.
stand toe to toe with like
With
I
anything.
don't know, maybe Game of
With
Thrones.
anything.
Yeah.
I wish maybe I could become like the Miyazaki of the
Yeah.
Philippines or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Awesome.
You can, man. We believe in
Yeah.
you. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
You've come this
Thank you.
far. I mean, my goodness, there's no limit, man.
It's hopeful. It's good. There's a lot of interest. I still have 8 more IPs that I'm developing.
Wow.
My space opera thing that I've written like 8 years ago. But it's just an idea. It's not even written. But now that I took some writing class, script writing, and I know how to do outlines now, and now I'm going into script form. It's very exciting. It's like art, but writing. And
Yeah.
since I draw anyway, I could already see it in my head. I could storyboard the whole movie if I wanted.
Oh my
to,
God,
yeah.
Pinoy Star Wars. That would be amazing.
That's like
Have you guys seen
this
this? I want
is
to share it.
What is
I
it?
want to share this with you too. This is for Sideshow Collectibles.
Ooh, that's
oh,
X-Men,
wow.
Wow.
It's a classic Colossus.
Are you trying
Yeah.
to tell us something about with
It's the
this?
classic. No, that's
Are you
that's
trying
for
to hint at
Sideshow
something?
Collectibles, but it's not available anymore. It's sold
Oh
out.
wow.
Yeah, before it even came out, but that was my one thing I got to work on. The X-Men without X-Men being with us, because that was a long time ago.
Bob
Mm.
Bob
But anyway.
Jabelli. Bob Jabelli. By the way, Bob here is an actor. He's a film actor. Bob
yeah.
Jabelli says, not the Miyazaki of the Philippines, the Anthony of the Philippines.
Thank you.
The
That's,
Anthony Francisco of the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. I
I'll
think you.
I'll remember that. That should be
Yeah.
what should be in my mind. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
Or
for
what
setting the
Miyazaki
Good point.
did for Japan, you'll do for the Philippines.
Philippines.
There you go.
That's
Better,
right, that's
better,
right.
better
Oh,
way to put
man.
it. Uh,
Yeah. Good
Thank
point,
you.
Bob.
Thank you for that. That
Yeah. Well, best of luck to you, Anthony, and thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, we thought we were only going to talk to you for like maybe 30 minutes or an hour, and it's just it's so nice to talk to you, and it's so nice
It's
to
just
hear your
refreshing.
stories, and
Super
Yeah.
refreshing. Yeah.
it's great talking to you guys too. You know, I'm glad Gino got to join us too, and it's just
I was so
feels like
sad
it's having
earlier.
a-
I was like, I'm sorry, I only finished work now. And then they were like, oh, we're
I'm
still
like,
on.
"Come
I'm like,
on in."
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Like, but yeah, let's. I mean, if you're up for it, we could do this again. We'll do it on all different channels, you know, and super looking forward to what you're gonna be releasing on YouTube as well. Because I mean, even if it's just literally like you drawing, I know that like you can't show what you're drawing on just yet, but maybe you can come up with, I don't know, like in your free time, come up with a different character or something to that effect. And I swear to God, people will watch that. Just time lapse the crap out of it, and like,
I
yeah.
will. I'll try that. I do. Yeah, I'll try that. Maybe that could be cool.
you
can do a
definitely go on.
You could do a Bob Ross kind of thing, you know, like
Bob Ross.
Yeah.
relaxing music going on,
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
glass of wine, you know.
Draw some
will.
friendly trees. Yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, you might want to guest also on Gina's show.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Nicola, this is so much love for you. I just wanted to answer.
Yeah. That's
that
right.
G-
Bruno.
Gino actually is one of the top DJs, you know, here in the Philippines, and he's got such a huge following. And
That's
I mean,
a lot
if
of
there's
pressure.
one
That's
if there's one show to help broadcast your story, it'd probably
Oh my
be
God, Gino, I
it'd
was just
probably be
thinking
his.
after you said that yesterday, I was just thinking about something. I was like, if only I could have someone's music, or do you do? Because I was thinking of doing like a reel of my art, just going from one art to another. But I
Yeah.
wanted to put music in it. If you know anybody
Right.
with original music that I could either buy or they want to
Oh.
share with me,
You know,
that I
I
could
thi-
play
I
in
think-
my YouTube channel and just play it with my art. I was just thinking about, I need like some kind of song, or so I was thinking of finding someone that would.
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can make that happen. I mean, personally, I can't. Like, I can't play instruments for shit. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
But he's well connected with everybody in the music industry, so
Yeah,
That would
for
be
sure.
so awesome. Then I could
But
feature
yeah,
the music of everyone in that video, because you know how you see the lo-fi videos that
Yeah.
have
yes,
artwork,
lo-fi,
right?
hip hop
Yeah.
beats. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
music, right? I want to do that for my channel where I have my artwork just
that's so
going
cool.
through, and with
Yeah.
music in the background. I wanted
And
to
yeah,
do
one
that.
of these days, if you're free, like we'd love to. I'd love to have you on our show as well. I'm on the show called Boys Night Out. I mean, usually we talk nonsense and whatever, but it'd be nice to have you there. That way people are
Yeah,
more aware
definitely. I would love-
of the
Mhm.
amazing stuff you've gotten to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's
you know,
more
Just amplify
stories.
your reach. Absolutely.
Yeah, make
with
the
show,
rounds here in the Philippine online scene.
Everybody has to
Yeah.
know who you are,
You know,
Anthony. Everyone has to know who you are.
yeah,
Oh, thank you. You just reminded me of another thing, because you were saying about the Philippines, making the rounds in the Philippines.
yeah.
We were talking about my kids earlier. Well, now they're older. My son's actually regional. He went into gymnastics,
Yeah.
and he's regional champion here in the United States.
That's
last
so
year.
cool.
Wow.
And this year's conference champion. His very first regional champion, he won it. So his goal is to be an Olympian, and we want to represent the Philippines. So we might go
Yeah.
there for training. Hopefully, I'm trying to get connected with the Philippine Olympic Association, I think it's called, or something like
Yeah.
that. 'Cause we
Yeah.
saw Kaloy, and he got that. So
Yes.
yeah, so my son, he's actually training with an Olympian right now. He moves are named after this Olympian, so he moved schools. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is because we
Yeah.
might move to the Philippines for that kind of training, and
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I
looking
can-
at
I-
those,
Yeah.
you know.
I know some people in that space. I'll get you connected.
You do?
man.
Okay, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be amazing to, of course, after the coronavirus and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Let's wait a while.
yeah.
You know.
it might be a while. But on the meantime, yeah, collaborations would be amazing.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I mean, I honestly believe that like not enough people know of the amazing work that you've done. And honestly, like at this point, with everything going on around us, like it's always nice to hear like an uplifting story, like a story of success,
A story of
because
hope.
a
as
hope.
well.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
something that kids here can kind of aspire to be as well, which is honestly what I. And one of the things, and this is actually something that Robbie mentioned earlier, is that it. I mean, I only met you today, but like it really seems like it hasn't gotten to your head at all, and like that's insane, because like with a resume like yours, man, I'd have like a baby Groot on my hand, and I'd be like, yep, I designed that.
So
Yeah,
good.
walking around
Like,
in public.
yeah. I'm in a
with a
club
mask
with a
on.
bottle of alcohol and a baby Groot, and I'm like, yo,
Well,
that's my
it-
boy.
But it's funny you say that, because in a way I had to do that a little bit here, because one thing I realized, if you don't take credit for the stuff you do,
Yeah.
people will take it from you.
Yeah,
That's,
that's true.
that's
Wow.
what
That's
would
true.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had
It's
to.
not, it's not bragging or anything. It's just stating
but-
facts.
But
It's your
yeah,
resume.
but some people will think it's bragging. Some people do,
Yeah.
and they do say there are some feelings of that. I'm sure with people, maybe they don't say it, but I'm talking about here. But
Yeah.
I realized that I have to always say it. And my manager, when I got my manager, no, what are you talking about? Because I just did this, and they go, no, you did more than what he helped me also understand the value that I bring. And Ryan Moore, I have to,
Yeah.
he when he made that video for me, I actually didn't want that out at first, because I was embarrassed. I was like, oh, my voice, or people won't watch this, who he says, no, you don't understand who you could inspire. And,
Yeah.
That's right.
and I didn't understand it before. Now I understand it more. And
For you guys who don't know who Ryan Moore is, Ryan Moore was the director of the documentary Manny, the documentary on Manny Pacquiao, which was narrated by Liam Neeson. Produced by me also, and Ryan's an old high school friend of mine. So yeah, that's how we all know each other. And he helped Anthony with his videos, produced a few of his videos, and that's how we got connected in the first place. So that's the story behind that.
Yeah.
Anthony, it'd be really great also if you could invite like some of your other Filipino friends in the industry over there to guest on our shows as well. That would be super awesome if they'd be interested in kind of educating our people as well on the stuff that they're doing, and also maybe inspire others as well.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
because you don't know what the you don't know what the industry is like over here. It's tough. One of the reasons why I didn't pursue becoming an artist was because I saw how well, there are a lot of this is probably not the time to discuss it, but things are tough over here.
Yeah.
It's 11:30 in the evening. We can discuss anything.
No, but Anthony, don't change, man. I mean, the way you are right now, it's I don't know. I don't really know if you realize the impact that you're making on everybody else, and just because of the person that you are. So yes, please just stay the way you are. Yeah.
And there's a lot of displaced creatives at the moment, especially right now with the closure of the ABS-CBN franchise and
so
the network and
unfortunate.
everything.
Yeah, I heard about
so
that.
there's really a lot of people like grasping for hope in this this craziness. So all those stories would go a long way for a lot for
Yeah, Noel says crabs, so that's in one word. I think he pretty much exemplifies already what things are like here. Bob also mentioned, he says, well, flaunting or not, my dude, the world has to know who you are and what you did and what you can do. That's a very beautiful trait, being down to earth. Your work will speak for itself, and you can speak for your work too. There's nothing wrong with that. Just stating the facts. Awesome. Thanks for that, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
All right, man. Wow.
Yeah.
It's probably time for breakfast for you. We don't want to keep you.
It's time for me to go back.
Brunch, perhaps.
Yeah, no, I try to wake up early every
Right.
day now, just so I could get work done mostly in the morning, and then in the afternoon get more work done.
Just so there's a
And
nice
then-
delineation, you know.
So,
Yeah.
you know, work balance.
Morning
that's
is work done. Afternoon is more work done.
Yeah.
Yeah, more work done. And gotta insert working out in there a little bit, which is it seems so hard, but back in the day it was easy for some reason. And yeah, that's one thing I think like artists out there, you just keep your health
In check also. Yeah.
in
And I
check,
mean,
yeah.
especially with everything that's happening now, everybody's just kind of like, you know, sitting at home and not really getting their steps in and not really getting
Yeah.
to move around and stuff. So,
I'm living a sedentary life right now.
oh,
and I
I-
have to,
you can,
Yeah.
really have to change.
I've been living this life for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because when the pandemic happened, everybody was like, "Man, I can't believe I'm stuck in a chair for like 8 hours." And I'm like, "That's kind of normal."
Not much has changed.
I know, like editors everywhere.
I know. It's like, okay, you know, I'm alone. I'm
Oh,
quarantined.
man.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we
Yeah.
don't want to keep you, man. I mean, I know
Yeah, I
you're a
know, I
busy
have to-
person, and
Yeah.
we hope that we can do this again sometime. You're definitely just at the start of something, you know, that's going to transform into something even greater than we expect, and we're all rooting for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Thank you.
show us
thank
the
you
way.
guys so much. I think this is good energy to keep on focusing on those bigger dreams of
Right.
starting a company in the Philippines and all that stuff, and
Mhm.
helping
Yeah.
out, and you know, getting to that point. Yeah, which is, yeah, we'll talk about it without the
Yeah.
cameras on.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I think I know what you're talking about too. I know Ryan
Yeah.
Moore's been cooking some stuff up, and he's been keeping me in the loop as well. So yeah, there's some good stuff coming to the Philippines real soon. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you so
All right,
much,
guys.
Anthony. We're gonna let you go. And
Yeah.
we love you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Nice to meet you,
Everyone,
man. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yeah, just email me, and we'll talk more. And everyone else that wants to show their stuff, just show their portfolios. You just email, use that email.
I'm gonna send
Yeah.
over my best stick figure to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, again, if you guys want to join me in my live stream, you know, any of the people watching, or even you guys, talk more there. All in
right.
September 11, 12, 13.
All right, there you go.
Cool. All right,
All right.
guys. I'm gonna
See you,
go.
man.
Anthony, see you later. Bye bye.
See you there. Bye.
And I'm back.
And we're back,
Oh.
boys.
I got lost for a moment.
I was like,
Anyway,
oh.
that was.
I was like, oh, this is an abrupt end. I'm like, I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
You know,
we're still going.
Gino, this is like our second show, like ever. So we honestly don't know how to end shows.
We kind of
You-
forgot how to do it.
You just gotta walk out, man.
I mean, there was like a whole bunch of stuff that we still wanted to talk about, but you know, it's probably getting
we'll
late for
probably
people.
Save that for another show. But it was
Yeah.
really nice of you also to come and pop in and
Oh,
join us for this. This is really cool. Yeah.
thanks for the invite,
Absolutely,
man.
man.
Like, I mean, honestly, I would have gotten here a little bit earlier. It's just, you know, I had work. So, but yeah, dude, Anthony was such an amazing guy to talk to, and I'm not just saying that because we're broadcasting or anything,
Yeah.
but like, he legit, you know,
Even
like,
his
I mean,
vibe, it's
yeah,
it's
exactly.
something else.
I really like where his head is at. Like his mentality, you know, just how and even, I mean, you can see it from the way that he would talk about, like, remember when we asked him whether or not like there was something that he wasn't, you know, necessarily proud of or whatever
Right.
in terms of art, and like I know that it was funny that, like, you know, he kind of had a Miss Universe answer to it, but that also goes, you know, like, but that speaks highly of the person, because like they're
Right.
not even gonna talk ish about, you know, certain issues, even if they technically could. And this is coming from a guy who has worked on, you know, some of the most popular, you know, pop culture references that we had. Like, he mentioned Spider-Man like it was nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you know this movie, like Spider-Man. Like,
Just
are you
oh, it's a piece of lint here on my
Exactly.
On my shirt. Let me
It's
just
like-
like flick it off.
are you shitting me right now? It's Spider-Man. Of course we know about it. You know?
No, it's crazy. when you look at his resume of all the stuff he's worked on, I mean, he did G.I. Joe, he did Superman Returns, he did Alien versus Predator, Passion of the Christ. I mean,
And look at the scope of that. Like, you know, from Aliens versus Predator, which is like a bunch of aliens staring each other apart, and then Passion of the Christ, you know, and then that's crazy, dude.
I wonder what he.
But, I mean, a Filipino would be qualified. They know a lot about, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Catholicism.
You go to Pampanga on a Holy Week and you'll see like all sorts of, you know, passion and whatever. But yeah, like I mean, even for Guild Wars, like Guild Wars at its time, like was one of the biggest game releases back then, like one of the bigger MMORPGs, and you know he worked on that too. And it's honestly like like what you guys were saying earlier. I really believe that this is something that I feel like a lot of Filipinos should find out about, just so they kind of have like that sort of rudder that like, okay, I can actually achieve this if I work hard enough, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of, you know, he's not the only successful Filipino like artist in the animation industry. You have the director from Pixar. I'm forgetting names, but gosh.
That's why they had that P. Sherman Wallaby Street, whatever, P. Sherman Street in Finding Nemo, right? It was fisherman, kind of a play on Filipino, and if was it Silver Surfer? I think the guy who worked on Silver Surfer also. But see, this is exactly why. Like, it's because of moments like this.
Ricky Nerva.
There.
Nerva. Okay.
Yeah, he's the one who worked on. He was the one who created Dory and Finding Nemo, and he was one of the guys in Cal Arts when you know how Pixar always references that room in Cal Arts in all of their films.
And then did he direct? Didn't he direct like the one with what's the title of the movie? Where everything's going on inside the head of the girl.
Inside Out. No.
Inside Out, yeah.
Yeah, Inside Out, yeah, where the emotions
wasn't
are there.
Also in
I'm not sure. I know he worked on Coco, I believe, was one of the ones he worked on. I can check.
Okay, maybe somebody can correct us if ever. But
Ricky was. I met Ricky when I was in Comic-Con last year here in MOA.
Asia Pop.
Yeah. So he came for a talk, and I spoke to him, and my kids were so excited to go meet him, and you know, and he was like, "Oh, hi, my name is Don Puno. These are my kids and whatever." And then he was like, "What was your name, Puno?" He's like, "Do you know Rafi Puno?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my brother." And he's like, "Oh my God, I love your brother. Your brother is like apparently like back in college, he was dating a girl from UCLA." And my brother was the president of the Filipino club in UCLA. So apparently they all looked up to my brother. So this guy was like saying, "Oh my God, how's your brother?" I was like, I was so like, I was like in awe. And then I told my brother, I was like, "Hey, you know that like one of the head guys in Pixar is like knows you, and he's like an old friend of yours." He's like, "Oh really? Oh yeah, that guy."
Just a piece of blame. Just you want to blow off your inconsequential.
I mean, obviously, when you're the head of the Filipino club, like everybody else is in.
Exactly.
Man.
But see, that's exactly why. You know, if more people knew about this, you know, it gives us something to be proud of, and you know, that's always something good. Yeah. I
always feel like we could make like this whole coalition of Filipino talents that could always just kind of like come together and then create some just amazing work, you know, like just something just world class that the whole world can see, you know.
Hey, maybe we can talk to Somali Montano, you know, as another guest. If you're not familiar, she's a voice actress who worked on Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. So she was who did she was
Yuna.
Yuna. She was Yuna.
Yeah, the lead girl, the main girl.
Main girl. She was in Robots. What's that? Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah.
On Netflix.
She's in Picard.
She's in Picard.
Mm-hmm.
She's done so many video games, and she's this Filipina living in the States. She's half Pinay, and she's a voice actress, and that's how we know her. She's part of Vocal Alliance.
Yeah.
And she's another like, you know, bright flame in the industry, and lighting the way for the rest of us. And yeah, it would be so great if we could have her on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Make it
we'll
happen,
see what we
Rob.
can do. I'll find a minute. Yeah, we'll see. She's very busy.
Mhm.
Maybe she can clue us in on some of her latest projects
Well,
too.
maybe
Whatever she's
people
working
aren't as busy these days if they're working from home. But maybe if you're a voice actor, you are. But
Yeah.
You probably are. Yeah.
Yeah. She will. Yeah. Well, no promises, guys. No, we're not making any guarantees, but we will try our best.
okay, yeah. All right. So I guess on that note, whatever we were going to talk about, we're going to have to save it for next week.
Yeah.
Gino Killiamore, thank you so much for coming over to the show.
Honored to have you on the show with us, man.
Thanks for
I'm
having me, guys.
So proud
Fun.
of you, by the way. I mean,
Yeah,
for
super.
everything that you've accomplished as
A
well.
little snippet. Damn, Robbie was actually one of the very first people I met in radio, and if it wasn't for Robbie, I wouldn't be in radio. Like he was the one who told me, like, "Yo, you should be a member of the hit squad." And then I, yeah,
And then he went on his merry way and carved out, a section of his
Airwaves for himself.
He carved out his own path and just
I more
did
have
great
stumbled
things.
into it, man. Like I just snowballed down. Like
No,
I
seriously,
tripped
man.
over a cliff and I kind of just fell into it.
No, you're doing so great, man, and we're so proud of you. Really, really. It's
Thank you.
You can't imagine.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near as humble as Anthony was, man. I'm gonna brag about all my shit.
And we're gonna be
Credit.
bragging
No,
about
take
him.
credit. Take credit, man. Take
Exactly.
credit. That's one lesson you learned from Anthony. It's take credit.
I know. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys having
right.
me on the show as well, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to Anthony. It was awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully he gets to go on your show as well, and many
Yeah.
others. Yeah.
I just hope he doesn't get a little shell shocked with how because we kind of go on the mature side, and it might just change his perspective. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Like I feel like he's a treasure that you kind of just don't want to corrupt.
Just make sure the other
He's
guys
too
don't
pure.
ask for his nude art, okay?
I know, but I was, dude, I was this close.
Nudes dyan.
I was
You
this
have
close
a-
to asking him.
Do you have nude Black Widows by any chance?
Exactly. And then I remembered that I was like, okay, different show, bro. Like, don't ask that. 'Cause I was
Guys,
thinking about
remember
it.
Classy, huh?
I was thinking about it, and I'm like, if I were that talented of an artist, man, I would be drawing everything. Super quick snippet. I remember, like, I had this classmate in high school, and he draw anime really well. So he would just draw it on his notebook. He would have like little story panels. Sure, the grammar was bad, but the art was amazing. And so he became an enterprising guy. He needed money to, buy food or whatever. And so he started charging us, the classmates, like 40 to 50 bucks, 40 to 50 pesos, for him to draw a hentai cartoon with you in it. Yeah. So he personalized it and even have like a little story. And I was thinking about it, like, man, if I had that kind of talent, I would totally do that. And you've seen the art on like comic books nowadays, man. Like
not to toot my own horn, but I used to do the same thing too. I used to
There
draw
you
all
go.
my favorite characters in the buff.
nude. There you go. Attaboy.
Yeah, I mean, just for to study anatomy. That
Of
really
course.
was
Sure.
And-
The only reason, yeah.
And
I'm
as-
sure that was the only reason. How are those pages? Are they still sticky?
You know how you can
Chuck
turn
them
it
in
into a
the-
cartoon by like flipping
Yeah, just like,
it doesn't flip anymore.
it skips the round.
Anyway, we gotta go. Let's head on out of here. Anyway, Gina, thank you so much, man.
Thanks,
Again,
guys. Appreciate it. Good night.
That was
All right,
fun.
good night,
Take care, buddy.
Gino. Take care.
Gino Killiamore, folks. Anthony
Oh, man.
Francisco. Yeah.
What a show, Rob. My goodness.
Yeah, this was well, not what I expected. I thought we were gonna be done in like a matter of a couple hours, and it just kept extending, and yeah, I'm super happy we got to spend more time with Anthony.
Yeah.
and hear everything
Yeah.
he had to say. So anyway, wow, we got to top this show with, another
Something
stellar
crazier next
guest
week or
next
something
week.
cool
Yeah.
next week. No pressure, but we'll do our very, very best. But it's been a
Yes.
great couple of shows so far for our show, and we're so glad you all can support us. And
Yeah, thank you to the Clingy crew who managed to watch the show. Some of whom stayed until the bitter end. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and to our families, to our loved ones.
To our loved ones who are supporting and comment when things are going well, like this comment right here.
Yeah. Wait, what does OML mean?
I think, oh my lali. Oh my lord.
Sorry.
Yeah, there.
Okay. Nathania, thank you so much again. Yes. Okay, cool. They're still tuned in. Great. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. We'll try to come up with something cool. Maybe we'll have another celebrity in person.
Yeah.
I mean, another actual celebrity join us next week for us to chit chat with.
Yeah.
Who might want to promote another video game or movie. Or
Yeah,
whatever. We'll see.
perhaps. All right, guys. So thanks very much for tuning in. This is Don.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Okay, Bob. See you, man. Thank you so much. And have a good evening. Stay tuned to the static. Are you going to do the point thing?